All right. And here we go. Fun. Hello, friends. Stam and Samuel, hello. 101 with Ben again. Get the questions in, bud. We posted a couple of social media links, so I don't know if a 2-on-1 tag team. Adorable. How you guys been? Been good? This is... I feel like this is earlier than last week. Maybe I'm imagining that. No, we're a half hour early. Yes. Slowly but surely moving my way closer and closer to normal training times. But last night I set like a PR in terms of training length. I was able to finish last night's workout 90 minutes faster than I have in literally weeks because Eric and Hanny pulled out one set of squats and one set of bench, and apparently that was what was hitting my recovery hard enough where I needed an extra 90 minutes of rest cumulatively, which is weird to think about. Plus, I'm slowly getting my sleep schedule back on track, and I mean slowly. But we're already hitting the first working set, so getting right into the good. Not a horrible start. Well, Mr. Ben, I'm doing a hypertrophy block. Any tips on how to structure? Don't worry about the weight. Worry about getting a bunch of volume and the sensations and a lot of muscle activation. The weight should come secondarily, if that's your focus. Charbel? Charbel. I'm going to call you Charbel, unless you correct me. Greetings from Australia. Greetings. Thanks for hanging out. Pretty early in the morning for you guys, right? Stan, I was going to ask you for a form check, Ben, but it's not letting me paste in web addresses. Shoot me an email. Goodness gracious. Why are you on volume on phone? Oh. The Discord server is sending me grumpy me faces. Aliens, welcome. Had no clue you were going to stream tonight if it wasn't for Discord bot. Every Tuesday and Saturday is the plan, man. But I'm very thankful for the Discord. So my plan is to have a lot of things fixed by Saturday's stream. Almost 5 minutes in. I didn't start my timer, but that's okay. My body is ready. Hello, Lenny. Welcome back. Gerbra, Didn't know if without the Discord? Man, 6:35 a.m. Okay. Well, I'm glad that the Discord's working. So everyone, give a big shout out to Invading Aliens for setting up the Discord server for anybody who didn't get the Facebook or the Twitter or the YouTube notifications that wants to be here. And I'm sorry to anybody who got notifications that doesn't want to be here. Sega Season 6, let's go! Yep, we're on it. We're on it, boys. And potentially ladies. Send it to me in an email. The email is listed in the description, just because I'll have a way better chance of checking it and probably write you a response rather than doing it on stream. So it's Benricetraining@gmail. It's the same one I use for the coaching stuff. My lower body's about 70% better. That's awesome. Coming back from that injury on the deads, I'm gonna try to avoid that at all if possible. Ascension Power Systems, you get notifications in your email. Huh. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for checking your email, I guess. Lenny had a chance to rewatch Interstellar. Somehow it got even better. I believe you. No. I was hoping to be able to go and visit Jess this week, but I'm just not able to. I'm so behind on so many things. 3M13s, did I lose a little weight over the past year? No, I've gained. I went from the 205 class to I weigh about 220, so I'm 15 pounds heavier than I was the last time I competed. I guess the Arnold I weighed 218, so I'm working my way up to the 231s. So no, I did not. Optical illusion caused by the pleated pants. I believe you, Lenny. You seem like the guy who cries over good things. Ascension Power. Oh, that's you, Marty. Well, hey, buddy. Marty Agos, everyone. The benefactor of the shoes. The conventional deadlift stream shoes. Which I would only wear because he sent them. Join us, Marty. Yeah, Marty is one of my athletes. An incredibly strong squatter. And a absolute gem of a man. Beautiful, beautiful human being. Love him lots. Sam, you love to streams, baby. I love you being here, man. Billy, hey Ben, what shoulder mobility exercise would you recommend to help get into better position for low bar squat? I'm gonna hit a set because my wrists are wrapped and I'm learning my lessons. But I'm gonna do the set and then I'll grab a dowel and I'll show you what I tend to do for mine. Alrighty then. So it's gonna be one of those nights. This is careful, boys. This is feeling too good. It's not supposed to feel that good. All right. So shoulder mob work. Wooden dowel, broomstick, shoulder dislocations. And then in different directions, make sure I don't hit a light. Focusing on getting that, you need that external rotation to be on point. So maybe some of these. Give yourself some tension, then relax. Do not let the sternum and the chest raise up because that's you opening the T-spine and you're mobilizing your back, which there's a time and a place, but if you're trying to focus on that shoulder, keep your rib cage down. And then some band work, pull parts for activation. Again, trying to keep the chest from getting pulled up and separating your torso like that. If you're trying to get your shoulders just nice, and you just want to open that up in that extended position. Get used to that and take time. David was asleep. Well, I'm glad you stopped by, you nappy little boy. Marty is beautiful. Oh, man. I hope that helped, Billy. I mean, it's pretty simple. It just comes down to consistency and doing it enough. Really is what it is. So, we did that set at 9 minutes. Why did I say? Oh, was it 5 minutes and at 9 minutes? 5 minutes, 9 minutes. Okay, no emojis here. Unfortunate. If you guys want emojis, you got to stop by the Discord before, during, and after streams. The Internet Friends Discord link is in the is in the description of the stream. It should be. I think I added it last time. 3M13s. Did you get a haircut then? I'm wearing a hat. I need a haircut. My hair is pretty atrocious right now, which is why I've been wearing a hat for every single one of the streams. Maybe it's just because the shirt, like, legitimately, it's going to sound like it's a shameless plug for my clothing line, but these shirts tend to have a slimming effect. I think it's just the way it fits on the upper body. I don't know. Seagaze in 6, do I plan to bench PB? Huh? No. We've got very set weights across the board. 5 triples here with 320. A double for Spoto Press, and then minus 10% of whatever that double ends up being for sets of 4. And I don't have any reason to try and PR a Spoto Press because I have no idea what I could do anyway. Gerbera, do I ever eat junk food anymore? Yeah. I mean, define junk food. I tend to try to do flexible dieting. I'm not always the best at it, but that's my goal. Lenny's watching weird foreign YouTube videos? Here, or you're just watching them in general? Biscuit Boy Ben. David, you forgot how that name even started? We started calling you Church Mouse because Bonica said that you were too quiet. You're over there moving better than last time you did bench. Oh, for sure. For sure. And even last night, that's probably what it is. It's probably because last night, instead of having 5 sets of 7 on squat, we only did 4 sets of 7, which felt infinitely better. I shaved a half hour off that squat time because that transition from set 4 to set 5 is what usually kills me. And then instead of a 6x6, we only did a 5x5. So that's Eric and Hanny doing their coaching thing, pulling off some of the volume. And even though the weights are still progressing upward, I just feel infinitely better in just one session. That's what, 25 working reps on squat or on bench last night instead of 36. That'll be a difference. Feeling good, 4 to 5 on stream. Nope. Saving that for nationals. Ben looks juicy. Trying. Seagaze in 6. I'm in the Pacific time zone. Pacific Standard Time. That's it. So Washington State is my locale. Am I getting lost, guys? Okay. Then I've noticed that a lot of long arm lifters are actually stronger with closer grip on bench press. What do you think that's so? Has that been your experience? I'm a bad person to ask on that specifically because I have the bum shoulder, so I had to do close grip for a long time, so I think my ratio is off pretty far from what it would naturally be. I think that in general, it allows you to put more emphasis on the tricep, but it mostly takes all the emphasis off your shoulder. When you have that longer lever, that shoulder is way more exposed, and you don't want that capsule closing down a whole lot, so that wider position. I don't know if it's so much stronger, but maybe long arm lifters don't feel as secure. I know I don't, but I'm practicing it anyway. So, squat me 15, Ben. If you ran Shaco, did you use I did use the Excel templates. CMS number 2 is the one I really liked, but I changed a lot of things on that program when I did it. Nappy little boy. Okay. I have training advice for people with ADHD. Well, I have ADHD, so I can kind of advise, I guess. I live with it every day. What do you have questions about it? So much better. What? What are this? I mean, last night didn't feel that good. I guess we're still pretty submaximal for the rep range. That's what I'll... Can't give myself too much credit. Okay. Plus you guys. Stream feels are usually helpful. Yeah, in Zorider, if you have any specific questions about managing a training schedule with pretty severe ADHD, then I can try to help out. But my experiences are my own and based off of my experiences, so I don't know if it's guaranteed to. I'm not a scientific expert. It's just something I happen to have. David. If I want to start cutting calories, where should I start? Carbs, protein, or fat? I would say depending on the person. I would look and see if you have anything that's in excess, my friend. If you're going into a deficit, you usually want to keep your protein pretty high. Maybe see if you're taking in too much fat, but you have your carbs and your fat to pull from. Carbs are energy, fat is hormone balance, but you don't need as much fat unless you're doing some sort of ketogenic diet, in which case you're running off of fat instead of carbs. So it really depends on the approach you want to take. But energy balance is the first thing. So you can lower everything down a little bit, and that would give you, if you're at maintenance, you could drop everything down and just see it kind of be a smaller, you put yourself in a slight deficit just by doing that. We moving today. That's right, Gerbra. We a moving today. I missed something. Oh, I must have skipped ahead. Samuel Invading Lands, you are always here. You're my friend. Friends are live on the stream. David, why are you cutting? Why are you cutting from skinny to tiny? What are you? You're already too shredded to be a power lifter. You cute little boy. You need to not get any skinnier, man. Unless you just are trying to not like do a crazy water cut for your next competition, then I can improve of that. Not true on that long arm bencher thing. I don't know, man. Depends on the lifter. I'm just giving that answer is definitely not a scientific one. Thomas, same. I have super long arms. I bench more with a closer grip. Lenny, I tried to answer your question. I don't know if I did a good job of it. In the past, I had a bad shoulder. I had to bench close grip because my shoulder was super unstable. I've moved it out since then, and it just comes down to practice, I think, a lot of the time. I've heard some people say that they like having a closer grip because they can load their lats more, but usually those lifters are bigger in the upper body anyway. But again, that's all just anecdotal evidence. Seagazin, I don't know if it happens to you anymore, but could you elaborate a little about how you correct your program when you fail on a lift? Figure out why you failed it. You have to go through the list of why did this happen. Could it have been predicted? Was it a freak occurrence? Was it because I didn't get enough sleep? Because your program may not be the problem. If you fail a lift because you didn't sleep the night before and you went for your dog died and you had all these other factors that are going into it, maybe the program was correct, but your recovery was just significantly reduced from what it was. And if that's the case, then you can just pull out maybe a little bit of volume if you're not able to keep up with the recovery. If you have all these other reasons, if they're recurring things, volume is the first place to go, programming-wise. I mean, but if it's something that you could control, like I made a mistake, I got drunk last night, and I had a whole bunch of crappy food that I'm not used to, so it sat in my gut the weird way, and then I still tried to go through and I rushed my warm-ups, and you have all these reasons why it went poorly, that gives you a little bit more to work with. If you got good sleep, your nutrition's solid, and you're following things correctly, you warmed up adequately, and all this stuff was going the right way, and then you missed a lift, then maybe you should adjust the program. And usually it comes from pulling out some volume and seeing if you're able to recover. Doing that for a week, if it feels better the next week, then maybe that's that's the direction to go from. So it's less about what do you do to the program as 100% of something happens. In terms of like a fatalistic response of like you do this as soon as you miss a weight. Why'd you miss the weight? That's the first thing. Solve that problem, solve that question, I guess that little riddle mystery, and then you move from there with that information. Another set. Huzzah! All right, 20 minutes in, 4 sets done. Not bad. We're all friends here. Gonna set the next rest period timer. I was real proud of myself last night for getting my entire squat and bench workout done with everything in less than 2 hours. I was super stoked. Okay. Inza Rider, yes. What's the main thing you do to stay focused in training? The main thing I do is I practice meditation every single day. That's what I do. First thing you do in the morning, practice meditation, because medication can help, and I use that, and it assists. But the thing that meditation and mindfulness practice does is basically the idea of recognizing when you're drifting, because you can't always prevent it. You can't always prevent drifting. No one has complete control of what their mind is doing at any one time. When a thought comes in, if I say pink elephants, you think of a pink elephant. You can't help it. But what you can do is you can learn to accept the stimulus that's coming in and to recognize that, and recognize that you're drifting, and then bring it back in. And it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. And it helps with people who don't have ADHD too, doing mindfulness and meditation practice. But it's almost like I almost feel as though it's necessary for someone who does struggle with that, because we didn't win the genetic lottery on that one. Our brains aren't functioning like a normal person's, and so you have to do a little bit of extra work for that. It's like someone who's born with a little bit less of an advantage in terms of like their genetics for lifting. You can't, if you and a person who's genetically gifted put in the same exact amount of work the same way, they're going to get a little bit farther. You have to work a little bit harder to keep up, and it's just, there's kind of checks and balances throughout all the people in all the world. Not everyone starts on the same footing in every area. So I think that's the main thing. And usually when it comes to getting ready for a lift itself, centering myself in the moment, focusing on breath, focusing on this exact thing. And usually it comes to the idea of I count my breaths sometimes. If I'm starting to lose it, if I'm starting to lose my ability to stay engaged in the moment and stay focused, think about something that can only exist in this moment. I can't think about the breath I'm going to take in 5 minutes. I can't think about the breath I took 10 minutes ago. All I can do if I'm focusing is feeling that feeling, and then quieting my mind in terms of if something else is going on, letting it pass. I notice that it's there. I'm going to let it go while I come back to this here and now. That's my biggest advice. Download something like headspace.com. They have an app, and the first 10 meditation practice sessions are free. Just do those 10 over and over again. You never have to pay any money, and you get infinitely better at managing your ADHD in anything you want to in life. And I still struggle with it. It's not easy. It never gets easy, and if you don't use it, you lose it. But you need to practice if you are serious about being effective and not having it cause a huge difference in what you're able to do versus someone else whose brain is working the way you want it to. So sea gazing. For example, you're supposed to do 5 reps with a weight, but you get 3 instead. Again, you just have to figure out why that happened. Were your expectations unrealistic? Did you program something that was, you're supposed to do 5 reps of a weight that's 30 pounds more than you did last week? There's a lot of things that can go into that. So you really just have to become kind of a detective and figure out why you missed, be honest with yourself, and then adjust accordingly. It sounds like that if you're missing by a couple of reps. If everything else was on point and you did all the things you're supposed to, your recovery was good, and then you get in there and you're just not capable of doing it, then then your program is progressing too quickly. So last triple here, then into the Spoto presses. Rock stiletto, I deadlift 200, squat 140. Please help. I like what Alien said. Keep watching the stream and working out consistently. It comes with practice, man. It comes with practice, it comes with time, and it's okay for there to be a difference between those two numbers. Most people have different numbers. So yeah. Let's change the weight before I get distracted and mess myself up like I've done in the past. I think 340 will be good. Dingus. No more noises. No more noises. Alright. Huzzah! 5 triples went faster than the 4x4 did last week. That's kind of cool. And we've already loaded the next weight. I got a little hyped up last night from being able to finish quicker. Enzo Ryder, I have problems sticking to a program. It gets boring and I tend to test more. Yep. Don't do that. Usually the most effective programs are the ones that are boring. And that's just unfortunate. It's one of those things where, again, you're kind of maybe at a disadvantage where you need a little bit more external stimulation to keep yourself engaged. And at the same time, you need to make sure that if you're adapting, if you're changing the programming so that it suits your personality, you may run into the problem of it not being the best programming. That's why you see a lot of people saying, oh, I love this program. It lets me hit AMRAPs and max out and test these things and do all this stuff. And excellence becomes a choice at a certain point. You can get better doing whatever when you're really bad at it. But when you get good at something or when you get better at something, you have to do what you need to do whether or not you want to do it. I hope that makes sense. Because I've run into that too. I hated doing 5 sets of 8 on squats on my Monday workouts. And I did it for 2 months and hated every single session. I came in and was just not motivated. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun. I didn't feel good. But if you love what you're doing, you can go through a period of time where that's okay. It's okay to not always enjoy it in the moment. It becomes a choice. David, you're going to pull from fats. You have dropping 100 to 200 calories. Why are you dropping that much weight, buddy boy? I'm curious. Oh no. Who got roasted? Who got roasted? I missed it. Oh no, I roasted somebody. Yep, because I'm way behind again. Jeremy, hey, what's up, Ben? Hope you're having a good night. It's doing pretty good so far. Peace out, fam. Sleep time. Well, good night, sir. Thanks for stopping by before bedtime. These are going to get earlier, I hope. You fix your deadlift walkout watching my deadlift vids. Translated into some freakish games. That's awesome, I said to the man who just fell asleep. Inza Rider, I might make a video about that. I'm thinking about making a video about lifting depression and a video about coping with... Oh, you retracted it. Yeah, working on a lot of different things. I'm sorry if I'm behind on the chat, guys. I'm trying to not get behind on the workout this time. Roxaletto 531 is a program designed for long-term, very slow progress. The gains come too slow. It's a 4-week wave with very... So the whole idea behind that program is it's supposed to be, you know, you make progress a month or two at a time for like 5 years. And just that you don't outrun your recovery ability and you don't slow down. It's just slow throughout. As a writer, good coach helps bring what's important in perspective. That's true. Bryce Lewis is a good boy for that. Perspective is very important. Aliens use an ab roller for the first time today. Why do people voluntarily do this Korean torture exercise? Because the more it hurts, usually the more it helps. If it's the right kind of discomfort, I guess. Like crazy rep squats. You are very welcome, Sigis. And dismiss. Okay, timer. So we got the 3 sets of Spoto Press. We're losing 1 set since we gained a set of regular bench press that we already did. We only have 2 back-offs after our initial set for the Spoto Press. But it's a top set. No elbows, sleeves. I forgot my own rule. Charbel, any experience with treating anterior hip pain in the squat? I've had some, I guess, lateral pain through here, and just the impingement when the hip is getting beat up. Usually my answer is, I made a video actually about mobilizing the glute and the hip, and I would check that out. And if you don't, it's the coaching tips series with Ben. It's just go to the channel, go to the playlist for the coaching tips series. Check that out. If that doesn't help, then check out Kelly Starrett Mobility WOD. Bring up a Google search of hip anatomy, locate the musculature in your hip that is hurting, find out what the name of that muscle is, or at least get it narrowed down to a couple of muscle names, and then Google search mobilize for this, and you usually will find people who specialize in mobility make a lot of videos about those kind of things. Kevin. Preach, Ben. Miss you, David and Ben. See y'all at Nats. See you at Nats. Aram's here. Hey, Aram. Did you get the program I sent you, my friend? Yep, I'm definitely a slow little Ben. Chick-fil-A, Eric, which elbow sleeves do you recommend? The only ones I've ever used are the Ray-Ban elbow sleeves because they offer a little bit of help and a little bit of support, but I don't want a lot of help or support. And some people, I think, have run into trouble when they're using the stronger elbow sleeves or they're using the SBD elbow sleeves where they feel real good and they help you a lot, but then they end up forgetting to take them off when it comes to top sets, and they go to meets not realizing how much they're getting out of them. So I recommend using whatever you need to keep you safe as a preventative measure and to protect you. And then I recommend making sure that you use them responsibly and don't just throw them on to throw them on because you want to lift more weight. That's the wrong reason to use elbow sleeves. Anabolic Bromide, Ben, do you eat big or anything the night before a big lift, event, or meet? Well, I've got to traditionally I have to make a weight class on a 2-hour weigh-in, so I can't really eat big. It just ends up being macro decisions, making sure I have enough carbs before training, making sure I'm adequately hydrated when it comes time to do a big lift. But I try not to ritualize too much, because then if I can't do the thing that I had been planning in the ritualization process, then it messes me up, and I want to avoid things like that. Some people are really into repeatability. I'm more into like a kind of a prepare for chaos sort of method. So, these are supposed to be a 2-count pause. I have no idea if I'll be able to do that. We'll find out. Spoto Press. Right. Yeah, I really want to lose tension on that second rep every single time. Just got to stay disciplined. All right. How far behind am I getting? Because I feel like every time I go and lift, you guys are being super awesome and talking, and I'm being, I'm struggle busting to keep up a little bit. That was the correct RPE. Roxaletto, thoughts on 531. As with any program, I think that most things can work. It just comes down to, will it work the best for you? And the answer is, no matter what, any program that you are not adjusting will not work as good or as well for an individual as a program that was written by someone who's qualified for that individual. So you either need to adapt a program to you as a lifter, or have someone adapt a program to you, or get a coach, or watch the series that Eric Helms did on YouTube for free about his fitness pyramid of strength training, and spend the time to learn about programming so you can adjust things so that they work the best for you. But in terms of yay or nay for just any program, anything can work as long as it's not horrible, and most things would work better with more customization for an individual based on their needs. Centrum Power, or Marty, you're throwing me off with your name differences, buddy. Lots of Lenny and Larry cookies, the best things ever. Oh, answering the question of what I eat before a big meet. I eat that all the time. World competition. Crazy how strong you are considering how small you are compared to the guys deadlifting 750 plus pounds. Well, I am deadlifting. Maybe you're referring to that. I can do that. Yeah, a lot of practice. A lot of practice. And I'm not that small. I'm tiny, but I'm not small. I don't know, whatever that means. Lenny counts my breaths too while I sleep. Nice try. Chester's the world's best guard cat. He would let me know. He'd hook me up with that info. Alien's best hook grip tape. I threw away the label. I just use normal generic Ace tape. The best thing I would use, which I never use it because I'm always trying to save it, is this stuff. Can I see? Hartman. This is so much harder to do. AC tape. Hartman AC tape. But this stuff is really expensive, so I never actually use it. I just have it. I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I'm too scared to use it. Like when a cool person gets a new pair of Jordans and they never wear them, that's me and that tape. Anthony, my daily caloric intake is around 3,500 calories is the plan currently. Roxaletto, I've been tooting up a storm too, my friend. All the tootsy doodles. Lenny, yes, tape is allowed in competitions. You can have 2 layers over the thumb, but that's it. And you'd have to check out the video I made about taping your hands for competition to find out what's legal and what's not. But you can't wear tape on anywhere on the rest of your hand for USAPL or IPF powerlifting. Yugi, how long have you been streaming? Just woke up. 40 minutes so far. And we're actually moving all right. We only have 2 sets left of the bench press. I told myself I'd like to finish benching in 50 minutes, and we're right on track for that, even though I'm falling a little bit behind with everybody. I think I just figured out what it feels like to row the bar to your chest on the bench. Do you have tips on how to understand the cues better and feel the right muscles working when training alone? Become obsessive about them? Usually you just have to figure out what the cue is trying to accomplish and then understand that you're trying to match a sensation. Most cues are just cues to fix something that you're doing wrong a lot of the time. So if someone's never seen you do the lift and they give you a cue, I'm really hesitant to try and do that, because then you end up over cueing somebody and it ends up being not the best thing. Understand cues better and feel the right muscles working when training alone. Practice in your warm-ups. I think maybe that's an answer that can be more beneficial. Figure out why you're trying to cue what, and then in your warm-ups, treat them like real sets. Don't just rush through them. Don't just kind of make sure that you're going through the sensations that you're supposed to. And it's tough, and I definitely have taken a very long time to get as comfortable doing it for myself as I am now, and I still have much to learn, always, as does anybody. Follow those who seek the truth, question those who say they found it. One of my favorites. Giorgio, good to see you too. Tyler, damn, I'm early tonight. Well, I'm trying to be a little earlier. Half hour earlier than last week on this workout, and trying to just bring them back to normal human lifting times. The awkwardness of Spoto pressing. Always has a very unique way of exposing your lack of shoulder stability at the bottom if you're not good at keeping that up. Lenny tried ab roller once, could barely do like 10 kneeling ones. It's one of those things that you get better rapidly at it, though. It's not like training like an overhead press where it takes forever to see any progress. Like once you learn how to really engage your core, I think it comes pretty quickly. Stan, do you use your same comp bench grip on the Spoto press, or do you go more narrow? I use a lot of varying grips, honestly. I go from index finger on the ring all the way to my ring finger on the ring for most of these training. The only yeah, it's I'm probably floating between the index and the middle finger right now. I've just noticed that I make those little adjustments set to set depending on how my shoulder's feeling. So I literally got an abdominal wall cramp 5 minutes later. Ab cramps are the worst. I remember Jess and I, back when I was in Ellensburg, were sitting on the couch. I think we were watching a movie or something, and I had done a whole bunch of ab work the night before, and my entire abdominal wall just went and like pulled me out of the chair, and I kind of did this like slow motion dive off the couch to laying flat, just going, ah. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. It's not fun. But sometimes you need it. I missed a super chat because I'm so slow. Yugi, thank you so much for the, is that the, do we decide that's the Danish, is that Danish? Danish crowns? Danish crowns? I'm showing my lack of international understanding of things. But thank you very much, Yugi. I always say Yugi now. Normally I'm tired at this time. This time I'm so amped up to just get through. Did I not start my timer again? I didn't start it. Silly Ben boy. Silly Ben. Lenny, how do you think meets would change if they banned sleeves, belts, and wrist wraps? I think numbers would go down. Numbers would go down. Lighter lifters would get hit a lot harder than heavier lifters with that, I think. Because I think that the bigger you are, the less you can potentially get from those kinds of things, in my experience. There's a lot of big guys who don't get a whole lot out of their belt. Look at like Ray Williams, never latches his belt, and when you're rounder, you're not needing as much help like expanding the size and the circumference of your torso. And I just think I would. Stan, I've never done an NAPF meet, no. I do not hate you, Aram. I do not hate you. I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to help you not hate you. Olympic lifters do stay crazy upright. Stan, I haven't measured my wingspan, no. There, got to Yugi's super chat. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Lenny, I think a lot of people purchase equipment too early, and do I think lifters are sacrificing later progress and they buy an ends or SBDs to squat at 185? I don't think it's so much that they're sacrificing progress. I think it's how do you know that you want to keep doing this and you want to spend that money on something that initially you're not going to see a whole lot of instant help from. Those are the kinds of things that you can build a really solid base and then not become dependent on a piece of equipment, and then be able to add something once your progress starts to slow down, because you can only progress so quickly. And when you have something, when you add an external element to it to help you progress faster, that increases the short-term rate, but use your beginner gains as much as you can. That's very much an opinion. Some people say get right into the fullest of the thing, but don't, I don't know. I think if you have a disposable income where you can make that argument where you could do that and it would make sense for you, I have a hard time arguing at that. But I wouldn't sacrifice your financial stability to buy a bunch of things when you're just starting out and you don't know if you love it or if you want to keep doing it for years and years. Those are investment type purchases. Manny, these are the Manny Pacquiao shoes? I don't know. Marty knows. Yep, Marty knows. They're Nike boxing shoes, Manny Pacquiao's. Yes, Marty sent these to me. I don't think he bought them for me, but he bought them and then sent them to me because he's got little thick feet and I'm dainty, like a little power bird or something. I feel like I'm missing people, so if I missed you, I apologize. Anthony, good night. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. Oh, excuse me. Heart of the cards. Yugi sent me $3. Yeah, I appreciate it anyway. Ryan, hello. Hell yeah. Ben has got the meme stream up and rolling tonight. Yep, meme streaming. And hopefully getting a little bit of information out there too. All right, last set of these Spoto Press. And if I do it in under a minute, then I made my time quota. Did it. Huzzah. Lap that. 49 minutes and 40 seconds for the bench press and the Spoto press. That's a total of 8 working sets. That's not too bad at all. And that last one was easier than the second to last set. This one was about 42 minutes. That's a lot. Seagason, favorite squat variant that I practice the most. In terms of variation, I think I've talked about this a few times. My big go-to is just to manipulate your tempos. So either a pause squat or just making sure that you're, even with your regular squats, controlling the tempo down and figuring out where in the movement you're going to lose position, and that's going to expose a lot of weaknesses, and it forces you to hold your positions when you don't want to. You should be able to pause at any portion of the squat, whether there's weight on your back or not. That's when you have control of your motor pattern. Kurt, watch you work out twice, not including the one. This one, and haven't trained since last Thursday. Definitely back at it tomorrow. Yeah, get at it, man. Get at it. Alex, welcome. Hello. Quick tip for Ben. The majority of currencies, the first two letters are the country of origin. Yeah, I figured that was that was close. J Cream, good evening, Ben. Hello. Cooking up some hash browns as of now. Sick. Yeah, some breakfast. PWRE, hello. White Boy Fans wants to go eat a bunch of junk food. Live your life, man. Oh, man. It's when I get behind and I try to scroll down and I skip a whole bunch of people's things. What wrist wraps do I have right now? These are the SBD, the flexible version. I don't think I could handle the stiff ones. I don't think I'd need to. But these are the 32, or the 1 meter SBD flexible wrist wraps. Georgia, it's been getting a bad habit during deadlifting, hip shooting up as the weight goes up. I start pause deadlift as accessory to prevent that. Any suggestions? Maybe start with a higher hip position. If your hips are shooting up first, then maybe that's where your hips should be. As long as your spine is staying neutral, you can have a higher hip position. You're going to see that probably in my conventionals here coming up, that my hips are starting higher than I initially wanted to try and make them, just because I have longer femurs and a shorter torso, and if my hips are down low, then I'm going to have to, I'll start pulling and my hips will default higher. Manny, they look really good. Gonna have to look at them. Look them up. I'm a sucker for shoes. And yes, Marty knows I love prescribing pause deadlifts because they fix everything. They fix everything. They're so good. I don't have anything personally vested in them. People like associate me with pause deadlifts a lot and say, "Oh yeah, Ben, he loves the pause deadlifts." Yeah, well, I wouldn't love them if they didn't work. I hate doing them. They feel awful, but there's a reason. There's a reason they feel awful. It exposes all your weaknesses. And when you get really good at them, it means your deadlift has gotten a lot better. You can't have an amazing pause deadlift and a crappy deadlift. You can't. It just doesn't happen. And it makes me happy how happy Ben gets after a good lift. Well, I feel like I haven't had too many in the last couple of weeks. I've been feeling pretty beat up, so feeling pretty good right now. Gerbra, for the Spoto Press, I basically, as long as I haven't contacted my shirt, that's all I really care about, but I'm trying about an inch off. I have no idea if I'm making it happen there. Isaiah, I only conventional deadlift in these shoes, and I wear them just 100% because Marty sent them to me, and because I love Marty. I will not ever wear these for a sumo deadlift. I do not like them as there's a little bit too much give in the sole for me, and I definitely prefer my Sabos. So I would not recommend them other than I think they look fly and they were a gift, and so I wear them on the deadlifts that aren't super challenging, i.e. my conventional pulls, because I'm not even wearing a belt for these. So if I'm doing my entire working sets without wearing a belt and not expecting them to be hard, and wearing these shoes, I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. Lenny, pause bench, soft touch versus sync. Which one do most lifters use in your opinion? Oh man, depends on a lot of different factors, my friend. Rocky, can I lift something? Well, we're gonna try soon. Did the first 8 sets, and maybe you missed that part, but that's okay. You're here. You're gonna get to see the deadlifts, and hopefully not feel as sassy. We're all friends here, man. I don't think he can. Yeah, that's the answer I should always give. Can you lift something? No. Tried it once, wasn't for me. Too uncomfortable. I'd rather nap. I would rather nap. But sometimes you have to work. Are you not entertained? Sassy little munchkins. Lenny, could I go into some of those factos, Benethy? In terms... Wait, you said Marty has bench shoes and you roast him on stream? I'm not roasting Marty. I don't roast Marty. I love Marty. I told Marty from the box that I really liked the shoes, but I wouldn't wear them for competition deadlifting. He knows that. If they were awesome for it, he would have kept them. Some of the things about soft touch versus sink lifter. Well, I mean, you're more likely to get called for shenanigans when you sink and heave like I do. The judge is going to make you hold it longer down there. In general, I would rather not, because you run a higher likelihood of losing your tension at the bottom, losing your back position, and misgrooving on the way up, which is where I miss most of my presses. Anytime I miss, I'm very confident that the strength wasn't the issue. It's because I can't keep my shoulder engaged if I get lazy at the bottom. And as much as funny as it sounds to say get lazy at the bottom when you have a heavy weight, it happens. It takes more control to have the soft touch and to build that tension like you're bringing up a spring. I think somewhere in the middle would be best, honestly, to be able to... Depends on how much of an arch you have, I think. I feel much stronger with the sink, definitely can use leg drive better. Yeah, but you have a higher likelihood of your butt coming up. You have a higher likelihood of getting called for a heave or for a double pause. All bad things. So I think you should train, use whatever works best for you in competition, as long as you know that you're going to be legal and you're able to get your lifts passed, because it would really suck to practice one way and go to the meet and then find out that they're not putting up with your shenanigans. Yeah, I try to train both. I try to train I have the Spoto presses and the t-shirt pause presses that I do, which are way more controlled and soft touch, and then when I'm doing my regular benching, I have a little bit more of a heave, but I think you can make arguments for either, and I don't feel confident saying one is objectively better than the other, because there's a lot of factors that go into it. Rocky, what kind of bar is that? It is an Ohio power bar. So, Rogue Ohio power bar. You called him skinny earlier, JK. I called David skinny because David's like a 165 lifter who's got like abs when he's not water cutting for a meet, and he's talking about going on a cut, which is silly to me because he's a lean lifter already. Yugi, have you ever been offered PEDs? Do you think you need PEDs to be the absolute elite? In a drug-tested competition, no, because I think that you'll get caught taking them. I think that I've peed in too many cups to believe that there's a lot of people who are using and just beating the tests. Maybe I'm just naive in that. But what is absolute elite? Are you talking about competing with guys who are amazing genetically and have a bunch of money that they're putting into chemicals that they're putting in their bodies? There's a reason that there's separated divisions. There's a reason that there are some places where they don't test you. There are also a lot of drawbacks to competing with those things. So, I don't know. My stance on drugs is that I'm not interested in them. I'm much less interested in them than I was when I was younger. The better I've gotten, the stronger I've gotten, the less interested I've gotten in drugs. And they're expensive, and I'm scared of needles, and I don't think I would have personally the same level of fulfillment hitting a PR, hitting a number that I couldn't do, and then having to think to myself, could I have done that without them? And I'll never know. If you start taking drugs, you'll never know what you could have done without them, because you're always going to have that in the back of your mind. And we had someone on the stream a couple weeks ago who was doing research on the extended effects even after using them, that it can stick with you in terms of your, not like negative side effects, but just that it can benefit you further in the future using and then coming off. Some of the adaptations that are made in the musculature are permanent. And so you'll never know what you could do without drugs as soon as you start taking drugs. You'll never know what you're capable of doing without them. And I don't like that idea. I want to know what I can do in my life. That's what brings me fulfillment to this, because it's just lifting weights otherwise. I don't care about looking jacked. I don't care about being swole. I don't care what numbers on the bar if I didn't do all of the work to get there myself. That's what makes it meaningful to me. And some people feel differently. Some people feel like you're not doing enough if you're not committing yourself fully, if you're not taking every single possible step you can. But I will not break the law, whether I agree with it or not, to do something for a sport where I'm putting the value into it myself. There's no value in doing this unless I give it value. I make it important in my life, and I use it as a way to center myself and to structure my life around it. But this is just lifting a weight if all you're trying to do is put more weight on the bar. And maybe that is definitely just my opinion, but it's an opinion that's very impactful on the way that I view this discussion. Thomas, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. You should go to bed earlier. I should stream earlier too. Those are things that need to be improved. So good on you, Thomas. Wondering if you need different shoes, if you pull differently, serious. Do I have a Dixie cup dispenser in my bathroom to pee instead of using a toilet to condition yourself to pee testing? No, man, you just get good at peeing. I'm hecka good at peeing anyway. Huzzah. I just overdrenched this hash browns. They're ruined. Am I skipping your stuff, Lenny? I'm trying to keep up with you guys because someone came in and called me out for not lifting any weights. And I'm trying to finish this. I'm trying to do the workout in under 2 hours, which last week I didn't do my first set of these deadlifts until we were 2 hours and 24 minutes in. So, and I didn't do the fourth set until 3 hours in. So I'm trying to, I'm not going to be doing a 135-pound curl on stream, only off stream. Only off stream with no shirt. That's the rule. Can't have the camera on when I'm curling 135. People can't know. People can't know that's the life I'm about. Invading list is that called you out for not lifting even lift? I have no idea, man. No, it's good. It's good. I need to hold myself accountable for lifting on the schedule that I am trying to do. You can do it, Ben. I believe in you. Do it once for your streamers. He's ruining it. He's ruining it. That's it. I'm ruining everything. You're talking about this on Discord. My friend took a vid of my pull-ups, and there's a guy in the background doing 135 curls on the squat rack while wearing a belt. Hardcore. Curl 225 now, Ben. You raised the bar. I raised the bar. I'm always raising the bar, guys. Always raising it, but never for curls. Can't do it. 135 curls is actually pretty impressive if you do it with good form. I knew a guy when I was at the rec center named Solomon, and I saw him do legit cambered bar curls with 315. He was probably one of the biggest people I've ever seen in person, and I've been to the Arnold Classic and the Olympia. So, yeah, it was a pretty large human being. Only ever saw him squat twice in the years that I was there when he was there. What kind of bar is it you're using for your deadlifts? Gerber, I use the Ohio Power Bar for all my lifting currently. I've got a Texas power bar back there that I use for mobility, and I've got a Texas deadlift bar back behind the platform that has only been used twice in the last 2 years. Once for the 800-pound deadlift attempt, and once for the Grid League deadlift competition where there was money on the line, so I was trying to do that. Georgios, do you feel creatine and supplements in general help you too? I don't like to take pharmaceutical at all, including protein. I drink egg whites instead of protein powder, just because I'm lazy and don't want to mix them. I think that you can, with a solid diet, you don't need to do anything. Creatine is pretty naturally occurring in things like red meat. You just have to eat a lot of it if you're trying to get your creatine levels up. Rocky, why don't I ever train with the Texas deadlift bar if you can lift more with it? Because it's not legal in USAPL and IPF competitions. It's when I got it, it was legal I was doing USPA competitions where they use a deadlift bar, but since I don't use a deadlift bar in competition, I want to use the one that's closest to the competition specs possible. And I don't lift a whole lot more with the deadlift bar anymore. I've gotten pretty adept at pulling with the stiffer bar. So, and I think it's a better training stimulus anyway. I think you can pull on a stiff bar and be able to go over to a deadlift bar and pull a lot more. I don't think you can. I think the effect is way more detrimental of going from a deadlift bar to a stiff bar if you start on the deadlift bar. Yugi, what do I do for core? The main lifts have a lot of focus. I'm very conscious of the way I brace and set my neutral spine for all of my lifting. But the recommendations I would have for training your core directly other than this would be ab wheel rollouts and hanging leg raises. And the first coaching tips video I did is called Training Core for Powerlifters. It should be the first one on that playlist. If you go to the channel, Coaching Tips series, the first video on that series should be my core for powerlifters, how to perform those lifts or how to perform those exercises, the way to think about them and the way to go about them. So you hear me, I've been this your average commercial gym rat. I don't take creatine because I'm too lazy. Only reason I forgot about it in 2 weeks. I take just a generic creatine most days. I just put it into the water. I drink a liter of water, usually with Crystal Light in it in the morning. First thing I do when I wake up, or try to anyway. And usually I'll put 5 grams of just generic unflavored creatine powder in there. J-Cream, my non-lifter friends curl more than me. Swole bros. Aliens, do you feel like multivitamins help? Oh, I do feel like multivitamins help me. I haven't had a multivitamin in years. And I probably could manage one because my nutrition is not very diverse. Lenny, why do I think some people get a lot out of a deadlift bar while some people barely get anything? And it maybe even hinders them. It doesn't hinder them. They're just terrible at it. You have to just be used to the whip and do it. I mean, you will just objectively be able to pull more with a bar that has more flex, is longer, and is thinner. And if you can't, then you're just bad at doing it. You're just unpracticed, and it throws you off because you're not used to the whippiness of the bar. Some people get more out of it because if you have it helps you the most at the start of the lift because you get a couple extra inches of the bar bending and getting yourself into a better position before the plates clear the deck, before you have the entire load in your hands. And so that's why. Rocky had a bad back injury doing conventional and got into sumo months later, which didn't cause pain. Do you think it would be worth it to try and get back into conventional? I hate conventional deadlifts personally. I don't like doing them, but it's just a way. It's a variation and an accessory to my sumo deadlifting. If it caused you to get an injury, my advice, if you want to get back into it, would be to start very light and focus on your technique and maintaining solid positions. But if sumo feels better, you can do better with it, and it doesn't injure you, then stick with sumo. Isaiah, why Crystal Light? Oh, just because drinking a liter of water with just some grainy, flavorless powder in it is just, it's not as fun as wild strawberry. That's really the only reason. It's just to flavor the water, because when you drink enough of it, you kind of get bored of the flavor sometimes. Marty, multivitamins won't help you much because you're lucky if you even absorb 10% of what you took. And Marty's in the medical field, so listen to Marty if he says some of that stuff. I trust his understanding of those. Trevor, what's my opinion on the sumo deadlift? I love it. I think it's great. I think that it's the way to go. I think that people can do conventional deadlift. I do conventional deadlift, and that's, if you can pull more, whatever you can pull more is what you should compete with. And I think that I can pull more with the sumo, and that's why I compete that way. Unless you have a sore in your mouth that comes back from nutrition isn't on point, which is never actually disappears if I take multivitamins or eat healthy. Well, maybe that 10% that you're absorbing is what you needed. Lenny, like Candido says, he gets a lot out of the deadlift bar. Would you say having good technique helps? I mean, having good technique on any bar helps, right? The better your technique is, the less you're giving up, the less is dependent on just getting stronger. Because you can always, if your technique is bad, no matter how strong you get, that's always going to limit you from what you're able to do. So having good technique raises your ceiling of potential. So that. Plus, Johnny really abuses because he's not very tall. And so when he has a super wide stance and is not tall and gets that extra couple of inches of whip before the bar actually leaves the floor, he doesn't have to, it's a severe reduction in his range of motion, which is why he can have such a really positive effect from switching the deadlift bar. It's like the super archers we talked about in the bench press. Some people really benefit from doing that, and others wouldn't benefit that much, which is, is playing the game. I need to do another warm-up set. Georgios, I'll be right back for that. Unsheath the chalk bucket. Oh, we don't need the chalk just yet. A little bit wider. There we go. All right. Trying to stay on track and trying to get caught up, and you guys are being such good little stream participators. I think sometimes the whole creatine multivitamins thing is more a placebo effect. You're strong without them. By taking them, you make you feel stronger. Just my opinion. I mean, there's clinical research that shows that creatine can have a marked improvement in athletic performance. So, but I'll take a placebo effect. If I take something and it makes me feel like it's helping, that's still positive. So, And if you feel just as good without them, then awesome. Don't spend the money. I don't spend money on supplements hardly at all. Really just the creatine maybe every, like, I think that I take a tablespoon out of it or something every day, and it lasts like a year. I only buy creatine like once a year. Brendan Lilly always says it's good to train both in case of injury. Serious? Well, I think it's just in general being good to train to train both so that you're covering the weaknesses. They cover each other's weaknesses very well. And if you're bad at one, you can usually figure out why. It's usually very glaring as to why it's bad, and improving that strength or fixing that weakness tends to carry over, and you can do more in the other form too, a lot of the time. But you have to be willing to be patient in your off form. I had to take a lot of weight off the bar and practice these and get into a better position, and now I'm actually feeling them be beneficial, where in my last block they weren't helpful because I was training them with poor technique and letting myself fall out of position, worrying about what weight is on the bar. I don't care what weight's on the bar for a conventional deadlift. And I've said it in a stream before, and I know it's a stream meme now, but conventionals don't matter to me because I'm a sumo deadlifter. So whatever number this is, I don't have a... When someone says, what's your conventional PR? Who cares? What's my close grip bench PR? Who cares? What's my overhead press? Doesn't matter. I'm a powerlifter. Those aren't the lifts I'm testing. Georgios Johnny, I think, is taking a little bit of a break. I think he hurt himself at his last meet. So he's taking some time. Rocky, conventional versus sumo for overall strength. Deadlift. Do them both for overall strength. I don't know why you'd need to pick one. If your goal is overall strength, then train overall strength. Train your squat and train everything. Carry a log around. Carry a rock around. Be athletic. Be athletic if your goal is overall strength. Get stronger by doing more weight on everything over time. We're a very binary culture when it comes to, like, oh, this or this. Well, do both. If you could have an argument for both, and you're wondering which I should do, and you're not trying to be like, if you're trying to be a competitive powerlifter, you want to get the one that you do the most weight on every time, and to make it the most efficient, and only to practice other things to fix weaknesses that are specifically noted or specifically tied to your competition form, and everything else you're not spending on that form is time away from that form to fix something else, or else why are you doing it? But for overall strength, you just open yourself up to just why not do both? There are benefits to both. Trevor, what's my max on deadlift? On the stiff bar, I've pulled 750 in a USAPL competition. I pulled 760 on this stiff bar in training, and I've pulled 800 on the deadlift bar. All at a body weight of under 220 pounds. Johnny abuses it because he's not very tall. Johnny is a self-proclaimed manlet and a beautiful human being, and he talks about why he sets his technique the way he does for this deadlift bar to get the most out of it. Johnny's awesome, but he's on full dark side, super wide sumo, and super arch now. Yeah. He's trying to get the most on his total as he can. That's playing the game, fam. Yugi, please donate to Ben so he can get a haircut and not always wear a Stronk dad hat. I need a haircut, but it's not... I mean, if you want to donate because you want to donate, not because... The money that comes through these donations goes right back into the stream. It's going into getting a webcam, getting better streaming software, and improving everything on that. The hat exists to cover the terrible haircut because I need to go just get one. No, Marty, we're not talking about Johnny Jackson. Isaiah, absorption rate decreases. Clearly, rectal multivitamins are superior. Oh, boom. There you go. Vemever jogar. Hello. Hello, Ben. Hello. I didn't reply to your... I saw your... I have your email. I have the video, XE Gym. I just have to film the response, is what it is. It's what it is. I'm sorry that it's taken so long. I still have 3 guys who I'm getting their programming started too. I've been just trying to get caught back up with everything. So it's not in, it's, I have you bookmarked. You have a little star next to your name is like on my list of people to get to, I promise. I warned you. I warned you. I'm a slow Benjamin trying to get my life together right now. Anabolic, bro, Mike, Ben, and chat. How do I stop thinking about my ex so I can meet new chicks? By not avoiding it. Don't avoid. You have to confront the feelings in your mind because they won't just go away. And if you don't confront the way that you're feeling and the fact that they exist there, you have to recognize, hey, these feelings exist. This is something that's happening with me emotionally, and I'm going to make decisions regardless of feeling that. Because if you just pretend like it's not happening or you try not to think of it, every time it comes back into your mind, then you get stuck on it because you haven't dealt with it. So deal with it. Just focus on like, okay, this is real. This is how I feel about this thing. And it can be girls, it can be guys, it can be anything in your life. It can be friendships, it can be school, it can be the way you feel about weightlifting. You have to confront the situations in your life that are causing you emotional pain, because if you don't confront them, if you act like they're not there, you try to ignore them, they're going to get there anyway. They're going to bring themselves back up, and your brain thinks, and then you're not practiced on dealing with things that are uncomfortable. So practice that. Address them, recognize that they're there, and then act regardless of those. Do other things in spite of having that exist in your mind, because once that happens, you'll get better at it. You learn to cope with having things that are uncomfortable in your brain. And it may take time. So allow it to take time. And don't try to distract yourself by doing other things, but find other things that make you happy and practice gratitude. It's really difficult to stress and be upset and have a bunch of negative feelings when you're thinking about the things every morning that you're grateful for. So do this. Take out a piece of paper right now. Write down 3 things in your life that you are thankful for. And then do that every day for the next 2 months. And I have a very strong feeling that you will have an easier time getting past messy breakups. Chick-fil-A Eric, I would try to take some time off being in a relationship before jumping back into a new one. That is also, yeah, don't rush it. You can't rush the way that you think about things. Good Portuguese, by the way. You were being very kind. I was sumo deadlifting and felt a pain in my front of my rib cage. Have you ever felt something like that? Maybe it popped a rib. I haven't felt it from sumo deadlifting. I felt it from squatting before. A good way to test that to see if you have a rib out would be to put your hands like this and see if you can keep your pelvis straight and twist all the way to one way and all the way to the other. If you have extreme pain, you may have a rib out. I'm not a doctor. I just have experienced that before. So, do we chalk? We chalk. Find out how the recovery's doing with the double overhand no hook today. We'll see. Saturday was rough. Hopefully this isn't. Alright. Well, today might be a good day. As if the super awesome bench press feels didn't already allude to that. While we're at it, might as well just take 495, get this last warm-up out of the way so I can get started a little sooner, because we're already kind of running, close to my time frame here. Got to get to 5:45 today, so. wee. One, and the grip was holding together on the 405 double overhand without the hook. So, Giorgio, heading to work. Well, thanks for stopping in, brother. Have a good day. Your name is Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel, I'm going to try to remember that. Because it's way easier to say than Vem me ver jogger. I can't. I messed it up again. Alien's got to go get his lasagna. No, he said thanks. Yeah, I promise, Yixie, I'm going to get to that. I am quite whelmed in terms of staying on top of everything. Oh, by the way, if any of you ever get the side middle finger blister I had, taping it fairly tight, just lifting as normal and taking off completely fix it for me. There you go. Lenny, when will I watch Interstellar? When I have time to visit my girlfriend, because I'm not going to try and sit down and watch a movie without her. And I was going to go see her tomorrow, but I'm just behind. Getting sick last week completely just wrecked my sleep schedule that I had been struggling to get back on track. Was pushed back further, and I was struggling myself to make the right decisions to get back on track. Rocky, why don't you put your plates on the right way? You have all the sass, sir. I've answered a few of your questions, but come on, man. You don't gotta be the right way. What is the right way? What is the right way? The inside plates face inside, and then in a competition when you're using kilo or calibrated plates, the outside plates face outside. But the inner two plates always face inside, and with iron plates, it doesn't matter. So I'm real curious where the sass is coming from, Mr. Sassafras. William interviewed him. Oh, we gotta go to bed. Oh no. How did I get all the way up here? What'd I miss? What'd you miss, Sokka Steve? You missed all the benching, but you're on to the work sets of the conventional deads, so not much. Gerard, almost 2 a.m. What up? What up? I've normally am working out at 2 a.m., so. Marty, did you see the new Alien movie? Or is it out yet? I didn't think it was out yet. Thumbwiggler, how many sets a week am I doing for accessories? Good question. The coaches just sent me a new fresh week of training too, so everything's a little bit off. On the Monday workouts, there's hard to say. I mean, my accessory movements, I don't even film them. It's usually rows, chins, ab work, curls, tricep extensions, and then a little bit of glute work. That's really it. Most of my work comes from the core lifts, the competition lifts, and variants of those competition lifts. William's just saying hi and go to bed. Well, thank you. Lenny, Chick-fil-A. Ben has never had Chick-fil-A, by the way. He was I was definitely mispronouncing it until we told him. No, you didn't. Oh, you did tell me. I was gonna say I think I saw and asked. I never knew. I thought it was Chick-fil-A. And I was like, because filet is just phonetic spelling, and it bugs me. It bugs me that's how they do it. Yugi is a nurse. That was a really good answer. Ignoring bad emotions or thoughts is a bad way to deal with them. Well, I've got plenty of bad thoughts and emotions that I have to deal with, so I had to find out ways to deal with them. Oh, no, I forgot. Gabriel. There it is. Okay, thanks for the tips. Didn't think it was possible to, but I think I messed with it. I believe in you. William's back. William left. Chick-fil-A. Oh, well, they have great protein ratios. Perks of having a microwave next to your desk bed is that you can watch live stream on your computer while microwaving your lasagna. Exactly. I needed to get rid of that, aliens. I used to have that, and then I just didn't leave my room for an entire summer. I left it to go and work out, but it was like room, watching League, playing League, going and lifting, zero else, and I needed to change that. Ben, what's your opinion about this YouTube controversy about very heavy partials? Any benefits, risk? Oh, is this that meme thing about people doing 1,000 pound like above the knee rack pulls? Yeah, that doesn't make sense for a powerlifter. It just doesn't. Kurt, check out this video, how to get over breakups and betrayal. I like one that Mike Falzone did a ways back, I think, about dealing with breakups. I don't remember exactly. Basically, it made me laugh. It made me laugh when I saw it, and like in a good way, like in a healing way. Jimmy, high volume conventional deads are exhausting. Sumo for life. We're not even high volume. I have one. This isn't a 5x5. This is the first week, literally in a long time, in like 8 weeks or something, where it's not a 5x5. It's 5 sets of 4. Easy sauce. I'm not even sweating it, yo. There's no risk. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. I'm trying to get caught up. Oh, Marty's waiting for the movie. Yugi, I was surprised to hear you only Pendlay row 135, you being an 800-pound deadlifter. It doesn't mean I can Pendlay row more than, it's not like 135 is my max, but I don't need more than that to get the work done to be able to produce an 800-pound deadlift. I think people forget that. I think that's what people run into, is they're like, oh, it's the most you can do. It doesn't matter what the most you can do is, but with solid technique and hitting the positions and training, you're training for something else. I don't care what my Pendlay row is. I care what my deadlift is. And if I'm doing a row that isn't directly benefiting me as much as it can towards that deadlift, then I don't want to do it. And I don't want to use more weight than I need to see progress, because then I'm cutting into recovery that could be better spent on my deadlifts or on my bench press. So then we were interesting. Also, back off question. Approximately how many movements for accessory do you do per body part? Not many. My training used to be way more generalized. I used to do a lot of extra stuff, and now I pretty much do mostly the competition lifts, and then I address specific weaknesses. And for my athletes, I program only accessories that make sense for general weaknesses or for weaknesses that they exhibit in their lifts to make them stronger. Anything that's in your program that is not defensible for you specifically and having a very specific reason for being in your program is wasted space that could be spent focusing on something else. If your goal is to be the best power lifter you can be. So that's my answer for that. Why are you describing my life? Lenny, so do you have time to watch League, but you don't have time to watch Interstellar? League is an ongoing, that's like me watching football. It's just the sport that I follow. And that was during a summer that I don't think Interstellar was out yet. So, nah. Lenny, you sass boy. Sokka Steve, hey Ben, what sort of frequency do you recommend for most people trying to get stronger on the big lifts? Start with less and add more as you see fit and need it. I wouldn't tell someone that everyone should start with this. I think most people can handle squatting twice a week, benching 2 to 3 times a week, and deadlifting 1 to 2 times a week. That's what I think most people can handle. And then once you start getting more than that, some people start to drop off for what you'd see as being beneficial for them. But to get better, you tend to have to do more, right? So you should start lower and add more as you see fit. Lenny, the above rack knee pulls aren't being recommended to powerlifters. It's being recommended as a way to increase upper back mass, not to increase deadlift, by the way. Why not just do half the weight from the ground for 2 reps and you just got a full range of motion, more work in a much safer, effective, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Isaiah, why did TSM choke so bad? I don't know, man. I think I think a lot of the other teams were playing well. TSM just didn't. They didn't play well. They were making too many mistakes. Maybe they were going passive, but I'm not as good as they are, so I don't know. I couldn't break down exactly what they were doing. Maybe the quality of competition in North America isn't high enough to get them ready to make a bunch of calls. They were playing well in the beginning of some games and getting leads, but then I think they would just get nervous in their own heads and they were running into the problem of having more of a fear of losing more than they were committing to making plays and saying, I don't care if it works or not. And Turtle just his positioning is he gets caught. He gets caught a lot, and that's unfortunate. So their drafts are also not very good. I don't know if they were getting out drafted, but there were a couple of really questionable bans that they were banning characters that weren't getting, or champions that weren't even getting played by. So maybe they had some information from the scrims that didn't help them very much. Either way, I still love my boys, but they did not have a good showing at the midseason invitational. The Wiggler, thanks, Dad. Gabriel, how do you look like in person? Do people have any idea about how strong you are? Because roids mess with people's perception about what a strong person looks like. I look like this, I guess. I think. I don't know. More people can tell now that I lift. I'm a little bit, now that I'm closer to 220. When I was under 200 pounds, though, and still lifting, 700-pound deadlifts and stuff, like, most people couldn't tell. You can be a strong deadlifter and not look like it. You can't really be a super amazing bench presser and not look like it. And so I've never had that problem, I guess. Jimmy, thoughts on Smolov for an accessory like overhead press? You could probably find... Oh, excuse me. Personally, I would explode doing that because my overhead press hurts me almost every time I try to get to it. That's my biggest issue. So I would recommend against it. Just as a general rule, this just sounds like too much volume and frequency for a movement that takes that long to progress and is that hard on the connective tissue, potentially. At least for me and my lifters. Isaiah, it seemed like they didn't know how to close without the other team making a mistake. Well, it wasn't just that. They were getting caught. They were getting caught making plays that they weren't proactive. They were just not well thought out plays, I guess. I would love to hear the comms in those games. I would love to hear the comms of what they're actually talking about because that's where most of it would come from. And like we had a couple of comps where we were setting up early game comps, and then the other team, and like with G2, G2 had a scaling comp. We couldn't stall. We were stalling the game out when we needed to try and end. And for anybody who doesn't care about League of Legends, I'm sorry, but that was hard to watch. It was hard to watch, and we should have won the first game by a lot more, and we should have not lost that second game. It was some bad plays, and we gave it away. Goat, what are my favorite front delt movements? I don't have any that are really specific, but if someone needed to work on their front delts, I would probably say something along the lines of an overhead press and a raise. That would be the ones I would do. I don't put a whole lot of attention to individual body parts in terms of like trying to build them up as much. Maybe an incline, get that upper pec and some anterior head of the delt. I mean, it's pretty. You know what they do? They raise the arm, right? That's pretty much what when you're looking for lifts to target a muscle group, find out what that muscle does and see what motion you would need to do to activate that muscle. Now load it in some way, take it through its full range of motion, and that's usually the most effective way to train that thing. So I hope that doesn't sound condescending. That's just, most of my lifters are performance athletes, so that's what I coach to. Only a set of 4. We got this all day, boys. Easy peasy. Center of the foot. And I try not to get pitched forward on the last few and lazy this time. Oh man, real tempting just to do 4 sets of 5 to get them over with faster, but that was not that bad. Your voice is so peaceful and falling asleep. Well, I'm glad you find it peaceful and not super annoying. So have a good night. Thanks for stopping by and for the questions. First set done literally 45 minutes earlier than last week. Little bit of progress. Ryan, I'd really like to learn about League so I could watch it for entertainment. I understand the basis of MOBAs, but I feel like it truly appreciate any competitive game. You have to play it yourself. I don't play League anymore. And I never played it to a level that was super high competitively. I think the casters in League are some of the best in the business, though. They make it way more consumable. And the biggest thing that the hardest thing to understand about League when you're not familiar with playing League is items, I think, is buying items specifically. The abilities make sense, the cooldowns make sense, those are pretty universal for most games, but items and builds are the thing that I think most people who haven't played the game themselves struggle with the most to be able to watch and enjoy and understand. Aram, you getting some sleep? Good for you. Good for you. I should be doing that soon. Do people talk to you a lot in the gym because of your strength? Maybe not as much as you think. How do you handle the stairs? Oh, some of the older videos. Okay. I was thinking there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot that really distracts me here. So you can really gather a crowd to people ask you to teach them stuff. I mean, I honestly think it's pretty similar to these streams. People were usually pretty respectful, didn't really bug me in the middle of a set, but I had a lot of questions, and I try to be an ambassador to the sport. I try to think of every interaction I have as being able to be a positive interaction with that person and make that person stay better or improve their understanding and be an ambassador to my sport and represent my sport well, or I'm the jerk. And yeah, you need to focus on your own lifting and make sure that you're doing it, but my stuff isn't really a time sensitive thing. As long as my rest periods stay under 15 minutes, I'm still training specifically for powerlifting. Where if I was doing something like CrossFit or my rest periods were more important, then that's or less defensible, I guess, because you need to move along to get your work in and make sure that you're actually working and not just bleh. But yeah, I didn't mind. And egotistically, like from my ego self, I enjoyed when people would be impressed by the weights I was lifting. So I didn't mind that. I didn't mind having people watch. It made me feel good. I make better training decisions when I'm here. When I've got a set plan and I don't have a bunch of people hanging out and watching. Because then I'll be more tempted to try and impress them and try to entertain them. So one of the reasons I stopped making videos for a time was I was feeling like I was making decisions based off of this will be a good video, and I needed to reset myself as a competitor. And that was kind of one of those moments where I decided that I was more interested in building my competitive capability rather than building my brand. And it really hurt the channel. It really hurt the growth of my social media stuff. But I think it was needed, and I think it saved my competitive viability. So, I don't know. It's tough to say. If I was better at managing a lot of these details, then maybe I would have been able to handle both, but I'm just not that person yet, trying to become that person. Isaiah joining LCS Fantasy League makes it a lot more fun to keep up with, too. One of my buddies who was my roommate a few years back, Will, he is a sport guy, loves sports, and he started watching League when I would watch it. We put it on the TV, and I text him sometimes, and he's not really familiar with the game, other than he loves Gnar, he loves Tom Kench, because those are some of my favorite characters, and he gets real hyphy when they bench the Kench but I've had some good conversations with him. I think the big thing is just being able to discuss it with somebody is really helpful for staying in a scene that you're not participating as actively in. So, Gabriel, you're grinding too much on getting out of the role of deep squats, lack of explosiveness, muscle activation. Any tips, accessory exercises? Just doing it till it gets better. Lighten the weight. If you're grinding and not and you're losing your position, then you need to lighten the weight so that you can maintain good positions. Otherwise, if your position's solid and you're just not lifting quickly, that's a style of lifting. If you're holding perfect positions, just try to go a little faster. Whenever people say, for accessory movements, I always usually tell them for variants of the lift, start by slowing down the tempo, make sure you're controlled and in perfect position through the whole thing. And then once it comes time to add more weight, do it as fast as you can maintain those perfect positions. So maybe you just haven't refined those motor patterns quite enough yet to be able to go a little quicker. But then it comes down to basically just telling yourself you need to go a little faster. And then if you're still in good position, then it's more like a decision and a conscious effort than it is necessarily being more explosive, because you can't change how naturally explosive you are. You can improve the level you have, but if you're a naturally explosive lifter, you're usually just born with that. Quite universal for powerlifting. Of all powerlifters are so zen, whereas bodybuilders are always in this kind of rush. Because they're trying to get to their next meal. We can eat whenever we want. Your core's weaker than you thought. Yesterday's AMRAP stopped at 5 because my core collapsed, but my legs could easily do 2 more. Also, my bracing sucks. Fix your bracing. Fix it. Ab wheel rollouts. Focus on your bracing. Focus on your breathing all the time. Pantheon equals best champ. Jabix, welcome back. Aliens, is it worth doing a speed pull sort of exercise for squats to be faster out of the hole? Let me do the set and I'll think on how to answer that best. Because I have an opinion, but it's very opinionated. I want to try and give you an answer that's a little bit more backed by more than just my opinion. Not gonna lie, these are feeling so much better than they used to 3 months ago. Must be getting better. Hello, Fabian. Speed work. The problem with traditional speed work, in my opinion and in my experience, is that most lifters are just moving the bar so quickly that they don't have any attention to their positions. And they're using so much of a light load that they're putting all this maximum velocity on it. But if you give them a heavier load or a moderate load, they can't move it fast anymore. And then it feels so different that it throws them off. You should perfect lifting slowly before you try to lift quickly for the power lifts. It's different You don't have to be explosive to be a strong power lifter. It's not like Olympic lifting. You're not trying to beat the bar there. You can be strong and move smoothly. So my advice is to continue working on those positions, focus on bringing your speed along, but only try to increase the speed that you're moving within what you're able to control with perfect position. Blind monkey, do these count or not? Are you talking about because they're conventionals? Conventionals don't count? They count for this programmed work that I'm doing. They're going to count as conventionals, but I don't care what the weight is on the bar. Although, using it as a gauge for progress, there's definitely some progress coming along. Because months ago, even with a belt, this would have just been uglier. So. Oh. And once you feel like post-activation potentiation has actually helped my deadlift, I think it'll help me with my squat too. Just that I'm worried about my positioning. I think with most people, like with the deadlift specifically, I see people pulling it slower than they need to and still holding position. Because once you clear the deck, once you clear the moment of the highest level of difficulty, the toughest part of the strength curve, which is right off the ground, if you clear that in a good position, you can accelerate without risk of losing position. No one starts their deadlift I'm always, I have to be very careful when I make these general statements. Most people will have a very difficult time starting in a perfect position and then actively losing their position on the way up. Usually you lose it at the start and then you're trying to recover it. Same thing's true with the squat. If you're able to maintain your position all the way through the hole, once you've done the first like 2 inches of movement out of the hole from the squat, you have a tendency to not lose your position halfway up. If you've made it past that point, then you can focus on putting speed on the bar and thinking fast, fast, fast and trying to accelerate. But you have to wait to do that until you've cleared the hole. Because you can get out of position at that bottom, but once you've cleared the bottom, you're probably set to just put as much speed on the bar as possible and give it maximum force and create that force. So that's how I'd approach it. Ooh, excuse me. Blind monkey, been feeling some behind the knee pain at the bottom of squats. Thoughts? Could be popliteus. I was struggling with that. I still am struggling with that, actually. Check out Kelly Starrett's videos, mobility WOD on terminal knee extension. Lenny heard that I put plates on wrong. Yeah, where'd Rocky go? I want you to, you never told me what the right way to put plates on is. I need to hear the correct way. So I'm not just getting salty for no reason. Educate me. Don't criticize without educating. Rule number 1 when offering criticism. Make sure you do it from a place of genuinely hoping you're helping the person out. Otherwise, you're just slinging insults. That's no way to get respect. Rocky isn't watching the stream anymore. I kind of figured. That's okay. You put plates on the same way? I don't care if you put them on the same or different, my friend. You guys can put them on however you want. When I was at the rec center, I used to alternate blue, red, because I thought I was nifty. I don't care. These are my plates, sucker. I put them on how I wants to put them on. Well... We're just rebellious. That's all it is, Lenny. We're just rebels. Gabriel, I've heard that putting plates on the other side, do people see the numbers helps you improve your lifts? No. When you have the real reason, like when you have calibrated plates that are like competition plates, because they're thinner and they don't have a lip, you put the first plate facing in, and then all the other ones face out, so you don't wear against the face of the plates. But these are not those plates. And I always put the first plate in, and then I just put the other ones in too. Marty, that's what Tina made the big post about. Tina Tornado made a huge long rant post about how to load competition plates. Lenny, show some cleavage, you'll get millions of views. Yeah, but then I won't have earned it. Not the way I need to earn it, man. I need to change the camera battery, Yugi. Oh, man. I think I'm okay, actually. I think I'm okay. We'll do one more here, and I'll check and see on the remote, because the remote tells me where my camera battery's at. I've been turning it off, because last time what happened is I kept it on the whole time. 2 bars out of 3. Can you even see that? 2 bars out of 3. Huzzah. Whenever I squat, I get into the hole. Sometimes I feel this thing in my back of my head. It just says, did Ben change the camera batteries? You guys. I've been a little bit more on point. We're only about to do the 3rd set. Haven't even hit 2-hour mark yet. That's quite a significant improvement over last week. A little more awake. Gerber, yo Ben, have you ever taken an entire week off training to help heal your joints and tendons and just regular wear and tear? Not really. No, I don't think I have. 17 years, no real full weeks off. I took a 3-week vacation with my family to the UK once. Didn't have a whole lot of access to gyms while I was over there, but I did as much as I could while I was there. So, J Cream pausing twice. Pause squatting twice a week has been killing my knees. I don't know how much getting knee sleeves would help. Probably a lot, and also make sure that you're being intentional, not pausing above parallel. If you pause above parallel, that puts all that shearing force right on the knee, and you don't want to do that. That is a bad thing. Okay. Chair, what you doing? Why are you all up in my grill? Alright. Huzzah. Call this even. Yeah, boy. Still got a bar left. For 2 more sets. Huzzah. Blind Monkey, when are you going to compete again? For sure, in October in Orlando. Trying to squeeze into a local competition at the end of June. So, we'll see. We will see. Gabriel, have you ever got contact with any Brazilian powerlifting? I have not. Yugi. Week 3 of Shako and Greg Knuckles deadlift. Interesting. That's a statement. I'm looking for the question. Or the context. I must have missed something. Lenny, really, I hear most people say pause squats are easier on the knees. If you're not going low enough, then you're stopping yourself. And all of that pressure gets put on the knee. And the knee's getting all the spring back without being able to go through its natural motion. You got to squat deep enough to not hurt your knees. Darrington, the setup makes it look like you're going to sing to us. Oh, that's not enough donations for that, my buddy. Not enough donations to be singing on stream right now. You first squats, then deadlift again, with seeing stars after that. Yeah, sounds about right. Anabolic Bro Mike, you're out. Good stream. Well, good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. Kim Wolford told me unless you can't do full range of motion, it's not really an injury. All right. That's an interesting perspective. Nothing but respect for Kim, though. It's 2 hours exactly. G-Quan. Benny, I have a question on deload weeks. How much volume should I reduce, and should the intensity be relatively similar to the training weeks prior to the deload week? Oh man, there are so many questions that I would have, to answer that effectively. Volume should be reduced. The amount of deload you're trying to make. Is it before a contest? Is it general because you're feeling beat up? Is it a planned deload at the end of a training block? All these things are very important factors. A true deload is going to look different for different lifters. Before a contest, my taper will come throughout, but I'm still lifting relatively heavy weights the week before, just because that's the way that I deload. That's the way that my coaches taper me into a meet and deload me into the meet, where the removal of volume is the main stimulus that's targeted, where my intensity stays pretty high. But if you're just doing it in the middle because you're feeling beat up, you might need to take the weight, you might need to cut the volume, you might need to bring the intensities down too. But the volume is going to be the biggest factor in you feeling better. So, Gerbra, Dimon, you're out here slaying this session tonight. Yeah, feeling pretty good. It helps with the conventionals being the light day. But these definitely would have been a lot scarier 3 months ago. So I'm pretty happy with the patience we've had coming into the deads. Ryan, how do you reacclimate yourself to a normal training volume after taking time off for a vacation? I have vacation coming up, and I always ride the struggle bus back in my regular programming. Just have to taper yourself back on a little bit. I don't take vacations, really. That one that I took was years and years ago, and every time that I could get to a gym, I still went to a gym. I was doing push-ups and bodyweight squats and sit-ups and doing and lunges and everything I could in the hotel rooms as we were traveling. I was trying not be like, the vacation was a thing I was doing with my family, not something that I don't like. I'm horrible. I don't like traveling. I'm not a traveling guy. I enjoy my regiment when I have it set up, and I'm very content with seeing the world through the eyes of others, through things like social media and pictures and stuff. Pretty boring that way, I guess. I don't wish to see the world. I like the internet. I like that I can talk to all of you guys in different parts of the world right now, and hear from your experiences and know your stuff from your words, and it doesn't feel as artificial to me as maybe it is in real. I don't know. And sometimes I get knee pain when I'm doing my walkout for deadlift. Yep, me too, man. The struggle. Darrington. J-Cream, how many eggs do I gobble down every morning? I tend to down a carton of egg whites every day. That's about 100 grams of protein. Over 2. Like, I'll drink half of it, and then I'll drink half of it later. I'll drink half of it right after this workout. PBRE, guess what I did today? First word starts with T and the second with a G. Don't hear. That deadlift variation, the cheatsy doodles. I'm ignoring you, Darrington. I'm ignoring you and your terrible ideas. Stan took a break, couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the stream, but now he's back for more. Try to get him to take his shirt off countless times. That's true. That's true. You guys only want me for my pale little boy body. It's messed up, man. Back for more. He's very nice when he deadlifts. He's cool as ice. Time to roll the dice after watching Ben. No other lifter will suffice. Boom. Hashtag bars. Bars, bro. Get the bars. Jaquan, thanks, Ben. I'm transitioning from a strength block to another strength block. I guess I will do some trial and error. Keep up the good work, and thanks again for the tips. Yeah, I wish I could help more, man, but it's... I don't want to give you something that sounds like an authoritative, like, truth of, like, this is how you do it, but there's so many factors and variables that I would be remiss to give that like anything that's hard and fast of like here's the rule for it, because I just can't know. I just can't know without extra information. Yugi, what's the most weight you've seen lifted with my own two eyes? I don't know. I mean, I saw Ray's 1,052 squat at the Arnold. Saw that. So that's pretty big. I've seen a lot of multiply stuff. I came from a multiply background. A lot of people around that I'd seen meets with a bunch of multiply lifts. A bunch of big bench presses from like Kennewick. Ryan Kennelly's down there. Matt Phelps is down there. A lot of really strong benchers in the Tri-Cities of Washington. So yeah. First we started the TNSA. Yeah, I know exactly what you were talking about, PDBRE, and that's why I didn't say it. Stan, you spit a rhyme, it's my turn to freestyle. Man, I know rap good. Ryan, I dislike vacations as well. It's less that I dislike vacations. I'm not a huge fan of the process of traveling. I like being in it. If I could teleport, then I'd do it, but it's just getting on planes, taking a day out of where I could be doing something that I want to do. And I don't have as much appreciation for, like, I live in Washington State. I see a lot of beautiful scenery just going outside. When I was in Ireland and I was in Scotland, I have these really beautiful landscapes and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. It's trees. They're over here now. I got to pet a goat. Or a sheep. I pet a sheep in Scotland. It was wet. It wasn't nearly as exciting as I had like prepped I'm gonna pet a Scottish sheep and I'm gonna name him something. And it was just he felt like a soaked cotton ball. It was not as much fun. Gabriel, for my bench press, feel very awkward. The shoulder feels strange. Doctors advise there don't bench. Did bench press always feel normal for you? No. Bench press is the least natural / normal movement you can possibly do. Laying down on something and pretending to squish yourself and unsquishing yourself. There's nothing in nature that makes sense like that. So it doesn't feel normal. You have to find ways to try and make it safer, but it probably won't feel normal. Watch some tutorials. Look for powerlifting tutorials on how to properly bench press. I haven't made one because I haven't felt like my bench. I feel like I'm pretty practiced at it because I have to be because I don't have a great bench and it takes a lot of work for me to make it a little bit better. But I feel like a lot of people would just dismiss it, so making the video hasn't felt worth it to me. But who knows? Aliens, I need to do another set. You guys are awesome. I just need to. I'm slacking a little bit because these are not hard enough to warrant me taking long breaks. I don't need breaks for these. I could do this in one set, but I'm not allowed to. Just need to do them. My knee's getting a little tight. Like a tiger. Like a tiger. Oh, Lenny, I missed it. Can you do a pull-up with a multiply bench shirt on? I have never tried and don't have reason to try. Aliens doing a Chinese Oli style warm-up for my shoulder helped. Gabriel, read Aliens. Aliens, if you have a link to something that can help him, go ahead and post that. Stan, I want to see Ben and Darrington sing together one day. Man, we had the chance at the Arnold house. He's always trying to put me out and make me sing. He just does his on his little Instagram. Little sassy man. Ben's cheap. Ben's poor, Darrington. Don't get it twisted. Ben is not cheap. Ben is poor. There is a difference, my friend. You recognize me. Big Penny Jr. Exactly. Oh no, what'd I miss? Fabian, I want Ben and his a cappella crew to give Bloodstream my Mr. Edward and Christopher Sheeran a run. I love that song. Love that song. Actually, I got a gig and I'm trying to share it with the group. We're doing in Tacoma the second weekend of June, second weekend of June. There is the Tangi Johnson Classic, and Mrs. Tangi, I guess, Johnson Bridgman just married my old chiropractor and friend, Dr. Bridgman from Ellensburg. And so she hit me up on Facebook and asked if I could do the national anthem or if my group could do the national anthem. And I said, I can definitely do it, so you have somebody doing it, but I'll try to get the group to be there so we can all do it. So anybody in Tacoma at the Tangi Johnson Classic is going to see a national anthem done by myself and various members of 2020. Probably if you can't find a specific video for it. Ben's cheap, Darrington, you sassy little man. Lenny, can we get your dad in the Discord? He's probably watching the stream right now, but I don't know if I don't know if he'd get as much enjoyment out of the memes. He thinks you guys are funny though. Little Penny Jr. Blind Monkey, do your longest yeah boy ever. I can't do a big long one. I haven't earned it. Gotta earn it. Gotta do something worth yeah boying for. I'm just yeah boying because these are okay. Lenny, I don't know if my dad's seen Interstellar. My parents watch way more TV and movies than I do. They've got real jobs, so they have time afterwards. And I don't use my time as well as I should. Yugi, Ben, which muscle groups of yours have always been relatively developed compared to the rest? Probably my erectors, my low back, from just having really bad deadlift technique for a very long time, and just the sheer amount of low bar squatting and deadlifting I've done over the nearly 2 decades that I've been working. And everything else would be my upper body. Stand for 545 times 20. Forget Hanny and Eric, Ben. No, I wouldn't want to do more on my conventionals. I wouldn't want more. Just, I could do them. Doesn't mean I should, or doesn't mean I have the desire to. I don't think I could do 20 at this weight. I'd do 10 probably 10 to 14 before things started getting ugly. And I had no idea of what a belt would do for me with conventional right now. I haven't worn one since like the week after the Arnold. Gabriel, you'd like to live in the USA, getting tired of all the crap and corruption in Brazil? Well, did you watch our elections? We've got some interesting stuff going on here, man. Sam was trying to scope Tinder to find himself a queen. She ain't there. Keep looking, man. Good luck. Here you work 5 months for pay and taxes. You don't get anything from the government. Very insecure. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Fabian, I feel the chemicals burn in my bloodstream. Tell me when it kicks in. Yeah, love it. You see the live performance of that, Fabian? Oh my gosh. When he kicks off and does the loop. Ah, all the layers. Edward, why do you have the juiciest beats, fam? Lenny thinks the Brazilian economy needs a confidence boost. Very insecure. Oh, man. Lewis, morning band. Hello, good morning. Kind of. For you, it's morning. How are TSA periodizing your training at the moment? Sorry if we've already discussed this. Currently, we're finally pulling some of the volume out because we may or may not be doing a meet coming up end of June, early July, August at the latest, to kind of resubmit a better qualifying total kind of tune-up meet sort of deal. Not entirely sure. So right now we're scaling, we're continuing to let the intensity go up while we're just now starting to cut some of the volumes, which is amazing feeling. For example, I'm about to do my last set faster than I did my first set last week, and I feel great. Largely because we pulled a set out of my squats last night, which cut like 40 minutes off the total squat time, which is ridiculous but true. And same thing for the bench. We were just probably right on the opposite, like right on the high end of my recoverable volume range. And so, aliens, why does the Seattle Tacoma airport suck so much? What airport has flights going at 6 a.m. but won't open any of its shops, restaurants until 10? I felt that pain, man. Stan, you're noticing some bend in my elbows at the start of the conventional pull. Mine does that too. Is there a reason, concern? Less power transfer? I don't think it happens in sumo. Oh, it's happening because when I put my knees in, it's pushing my arms out. So I'm not like putting tension on my arm. I'm still trying to just pull, but the knees are literally pushing my arms out. So there's no tension in the that. I still have no tension in my arms. It just is my legs pushing out of the way. And so that's why it wouldn't happen on the sumo, because it's not me bending my arms, it's my arms getting rotated kind of out a little bit, and then they straighten as they come up. That's why. Darrington with the clutch tutorial reference for whoever I don't remember who was asking about the bench tutorial, but Calgary Barbell, that's Bryce up in Canada. Gabriel, I take 5 grams of creatine on the days when I remember to in the morning, just kind of cuz. And caffeine, yeah. I usually drink a Monster at some point during the day, and then have 200 milligram caffeine tablets that if I'm feeling like I need to wake up a little bit, I might take one of those. Sam, any tips on getting a queen on Tinder? I met my girlfriend in real life, unfortunately. So I don't have good advice for that. Be honest. Be honest with what you're looking for, and be a good person, and things will work out eventually. Monkey, did I play sports before lifting? I played sports and then started lifting pretty young too. I think I played sports all the time from when I was a little kid. Little league, baseball, like from coach's pitch. Soccer for years and years. Started like real early on the soccer, and went until my senior year of high school. Basketball through elementary school into junior high. Track in junior high. Wrestling all through high school. Cross country through junior high. Football. High school, I think I said that. Powerlifting, like the sport of powerlifting starting like 2005, 2006. Earlier than that? Was it 2004? I think it was 2005. I graduated high school in 2008, and I powerlifted all 4 years that I was in high school. So, I don't know. We're going to do this last set, just knock it out, get it done, and then we'll hang out for a little bit, get caught up on some questions, but then I'm not too far behind on the lift time that I kind of set for myself as the arbitrary goal. Tell me when it kicks in. Hamstrings a little tight. Side. Yeah, boy. That's what's up. Tried to move my hand out a little bit so I wasn't having as much of the knees pushing the elbows. So, thanks for pointing that out. Stan? Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Stan. Felt a little better, too, so I can improve it. Mehar, hello, sir. Welcome. Fabian, it's awesome, man. Live, love it most at the part where he goes crazy on the loop layers and then drops it all off at once and plays these things live. So good. So good. It's been hard this night. I've been looking like... Oh, Yugi got jokes. Aliens was stuck at the SeaTac airport for 14 hours. Oh. Never thought you'd have crackheads roaming the airport. Good thing Aberdeen doesn't have an airport. I'll just say that much. It takes meth on comp days. I guess technically, unless I'm in a comp without my TUE for my ADHD medication, I guess you could say it is an amphetamine. That freaks people out. You're a good man, bro. There's no way you could let your knees pass your toes without major injury unless you're on meth. See, I can't talk. Not enough meth. That's the problem. Don't do meth, kids, unless you want to be a lifter. Just kidding. Just kidding. Lenny Kayla, I met my real girlfriend in real life, unfortunately. Oh, man. Context matters, my friend. Context matters. In terms of unfortunate that I can't give online dating advice. That's good. That's good. I'm sure she'd appreciate that. Yeah, Fabian, that's it. Now it's stuck in my head. Gabriel, if you're not training for powerlifting, maybe avoid the bench press altogether, to be completely honest. It's such a bad movement for just in general, for like general strength. You can get so much more from other movements, dumbbell work, incline press, overhead work. Just the bench itself puts so much pressure on this joint, and it closes down so much of that of the movement in the shoulder. It's just, if you're not doing it, I wouldn't treat it like a power lifter unless you have to do it for powerlifting, to be completely honest. Yeah. Hello. Welcome. Samuel, do I like the Masthetics boys? Simon and Gary? Yeah. Yeah. I knew Simon before they were Masthetics. That's my real claim to fame. I knew Simon back when he was Sock Pirate. And we used to talk deadlift stuff. They when they first launched the brand, they sent me a t-shirt. And yeah, super nice guys. Their online personalities, like, they're very trolly, but I think they're really pretty sweet boys otherwise. What am I? Aliens. I've been wanting to get into powerlifting for a while, but I just don't want to get too big. Just want to get toned. Exactly. When's my girlfriend coming on stream? I don't know. She doesn't. We don't live in the same city right now. So maybe you guys will get to see her eventually. I promise she exists. But yeah. She messaged me, actually. She texted me while you guys were talking. She's working all day at the bakery with her family, though. And they were hoping I'd be able to make it out there, but I'm too far behind on stuff. I can't help work at the bakery tomorrow in Fife, Washington. Mehar, how come I've been training so late? Just because training is the one thing I know that I'll do in the day, even if everything else gets pushed around. It's the one thing that I can 100% be sure that I will consistently get the session done, no matter what time I'm stuck starting. So everything else gets pushed. It's really backwards. I should prioritize it more. But I just know that I will always get it done. So it ends up being that because it's so consistent that I never worry about not finishing, it gets pushed back. Plus, with the streams, it takes me a little bit of extra time to get everything set up, and so it gets pushed back further. We're actually getting earlier. This is actually earlier significantly. It's only midnight right now, and I'm done with the streamed portion of the workout. So that's actually huge. Last Saturday, I think we started at midnight. No, not last. Was it Saturday? I've been starting at midnight a lot, and so this is actually pretty decent. Ben, you should stream with your girlfriend sometime, boost views. I wouldn't want to use her like that. I don't care about the views. I don't care about the views. I care about the community we have. I think we got a fun little community here. If I cared about the views, I'd pick a better stream time. I wouldn't let this get pushed back as far. I don't compete, but I still do pause benching because it makes me use better technique. That's fair. Good morning, Phil. Kind of. In the old days, I loved them baby boys. Ben, you still get to the Masthetics page if you type YouTube. Sock Pirate 86, Simon. Yeah, and I met them face to face officially at the Arnold this time. It was real. They have been nothing. I know they get into some internet shenanigans sometimes, but they've been nothing but kind to me. And Simon's a social worker and Garrett's a doctor, so I think, or training to be a doctor, so I think they have good hearts, even though they're sassy little meme boys. Yeah, I just found a competition near where I live right before exams, and I'm still weak. Do it anyway. Yeah, just do it. If you're interested in doing it, get in and do it, man. Don't worry about being weak. No one is going to look at you and be like, hey, you're really weak. It's not going to happen. You're going to learn. You're going to grow. Get those first jitters out of the way and learn if you love it. Lenny, bring her on the stream and I'll show her a real man. She'll see your little beard avatar. She won't know what to do. Goodness. Phil, can I tell you a little bit about my diet on an average day? It's pretty boring, pretty straightforward. A lot of egg whites, a lot of that and I always come back to this. I just drink them out of the carton because I don't like cooking. I find zero joy and fulfillment from the art of cooking. I make crock-pot chicken that I put over rice just because it's easy, because I can make it one time and not have to worry about making food for weeks. Bananas, V8, occasionally a Monster, and Lenny and Larry's cookies, and then I just look at whatever else is in kind of my macros for the day and just fill it up with whatever. So yeah, That's pretty much it. It's nothing fancy. It's just hitting numbers. And I'm not always, right now, since I'm gaining weight, I'm not tracking super close. So if I feel like having something else, I'll have something else. If I'm in Aberdeen trying to catch Pokemon, I might stop at KFC and get some chicken. Mehar, 10-4 to that. I haven't missed a session in 5 years of powerlifting. Sometimes end up with some odd timing. Yeah, I've had many midnight to 4 a.m. sessions that are documented on YouTube now, which I don't always recommend it, but I just know that I'll always get it done somehow, even if it's no fun at the time. Hashtag looking at you. 5 sets of 8 squats. Thanks, Eric and Hanny, for trying to make me cry on the inside. Yugi, have I watched Dragon Ball? I've seen a lot of episodes, but I haven't watched it. I've seen a lot of important fights, a lot of the end of arcs, which are like 10 episodes for the end of each arc, but I haven't watched the show. I never had access to it until I was like a man-child, so. Said so in an earlier stream. Yep. Aliens coming in clutch with those answers. Phil, target macros currently, I think like 240 to 250 grams of protein-ish. 340 to 360 grams of carbohydrates. That sounds like a lot. Is that a... Yeah, I think so. And then 100 to 120 grams of fat. Usually fats are lower, carbs are higher on training days, and the opposite for non-training days. I'm not super locked into my macros right now, just because we're gaining weight, so I have a little bit more flexibility even than normal. Fabian, how much of a surplus am I in at the moment? I must not be in a very big surplus because my weight's pretty stable around 220. Last week I was sick on Monday, lost like 7 pounds. I've been getting back up to that. I feel like I'm there again, but I haven't even really been consistently weighing myself. I'll weigh myself sometimes, and I'm usually 220 when I stand on the scale. So, Stan, if one consistently puts 20 kilograms on the total every 12-week training cycle, are those considered fast gains? Yes. How long do you think they're sustainable for before you have to switch programs until they stop being that consistent? If you're putting 20 kilos on your total every 3 months? Wish I could do that. That's hard. That's hard, fam. Gabriel, after all the training, do I sleep easily? Not really. I have a really hard time letting my mind relax at night, and I stress even more when I know I should be going to bed. I have a real disconnect between being tired, like sleepy, and being exhausted. Like I can be exhausted and wide awake, which is not good. So, Sam, hey baby, if I'm going like a hypertrophy block, then transition to a strength block, when should I add in my belt, knee wraps, like how far out of a comp should I use them? You can use a belt whenever. Most people, I would say, should train with a belt just because you get to. And there's not a whole lot of... Personally, I like the feeling of doing some of my work beltless because for conventionals, it lets me not feel my ego pushing to add weight to the bar as quickly. I'm fine being patient on my conventionals when I'm going beltless because I have to focus more on my positioning. And sometimes with like my pause work, I like to warm up pretty heavily without a belt so that I just feel confident. But in terms of like core activation, most of the research actually suggests that you don't get like more core activation from not using a belt. So that's not as most of the evidence to go in the face of that is really anecdotal. So you could wear a belt pretty much anytime. And then for wraps versus sleeves, you got to practice with the wraps. It depends on the person. If you're comfortable with knee wraps and you're well practiced with them, then you don't need them as long in the training. You can get more training without them, and then add them later on. Or if you're not as familiar with them, then you need to practice the skill of squatting with wraps, which it doesn't just give you a whole lot for nothing. If you're not used to them, it'll bring your knees out and you'll fall on your face and it'll be horrible. So the belt you can add in any time, and the wraps, it comes down to how comfortable you are and how practiced you are with them. You guys are talking about that level of progress. Yeah, it's a lot of progress. Just keep doing it. Don't change it unless you need to change it. That's a big thing. People try to outthink the process when sometimes you just need to see what's happening and use that and assess based off of it. Phil, so I assume you're doing protein shakes in between meals too? No, egg whites. I don't do protein shakes because I don't like mixing them because I'm lazy. I don't enjoy cooking. People, like, when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, it's annoying, I don't like to do it. No, like, I actively avoid it. I make bad nutrition choices that I would not make if I had any desire or interest or got any joy from cooking whatsoever. So, Marty, Ben's programming will increase your total by 20 kgs every 3 months. Well, Marty's one of my lifters, so if he says it, it must be true. Lenny, when did Johnny make his Insta private? I don't know. Probably when he changed his Facebook name so that people. I think Johnny's following got super big, and I think he wanted some privacy. Phil, oh yeah, sorry, of course. Lenny, just eat McDoubles all day. That's what I do. See that? There you go. That's what I'm missing. I will say there was a time when I was having McDonald's way too often, and I felt just gross. So that wasn't maybe not the best. One of those things where it's like, oh, as long as you get your macros, it doesn't matter what you're eating. It was mattering what I was eating. They're 120 right now? Oh, man, don't tempt me. I'll drive to Aberdeen. I had Subway for lunch today. Oof. What do we got left? I got rows and some tricep extensions. It's weird because we're done with the workout that I'm like the stuff I was planning on streaming. Normally it takes me 3 to 4 hours to get all this done. I finished it in 2. What do I do with my life now? Dude, if you don't have the McDonald's app, you're a chump. Lenny, didn't you say you're trying to lose weight, though? Marty, I don't have a Popeyes anywhere around here. I've never been to a Popeyes because they're just not around. Or a Chick-fil-A. I'm not going to call it a filet, by the way. I'm going to keep calling it Chick-fil-A. And somebody will be like, it's pronounced filet. And I'll be like, yeah, well, you're a dish. Gabriel, I'm a little out of the YouTube fitness work, so did Candido turn to the dark side? I don't think he dark in terms of like he started deadlifting sumo. I guess that's as dark as he went. Johnny didn't start like using drugs or anything. I think he just moved down to Texas, got a girlfriend, is having a good time down there training, and I think he's run into a couple of hurt things. So he's hurt himself a few times. It's as someone who's gone through some struggles with the YouTube game and doesn't have nearly the following that Johnny has. It can be pretty whelming at times to feel like you have other people that you kind of are trying to work. It can become overwhelming to try and feel like you're performing for people or that you're producing content for people, and that expectation can be a little bit tough. Lenny, you've lost like 30 pounds since December. There you go, guys. McDonald's app. Lose weight like Big Lenny. That's it. McDonald's are just nice restaurants like gourmet burgers in Brazil. It reminds me of that the movie Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes when all restaurants are Taco Bell. We're having Taco Bell tonight for lunch or for dinner. See, guys, and do I perform vertical pulls or pushes often? Chins once or twice a week. I don't do any vertical pushes at the moment. Yeah. Marty has a Wingstop app. I've never been to a Wingstop. Why do you have all... Oh, Texas. You have all the good restaurants in Texas. Y'all got food. Stan Dam will make it rain $1. Phil, you were never convinced Candido was Johnny was always natural. There was never a question in my mind Johnny was natural. His progress has made absolute sense and it's been all documented. It's been documented. It never took any crazy jumps. It was consistent. He worked on technique. He comes from his dad was genetically very similar to him and could produce a lot of the same kind of things. Johnny was absolutely natural the whole time and still is. I will say 100,000% that everything Johnny's done is definitely not even questionable. So that's not a controversial comment. That's just unfortunately that's an unfortunate comment that people think that no, they're definitely natural. Definitely natural. Lenny did intermittent fasting, so I didn't eat for 18 hours a day. Okay, interesting. Sometimes I do that on accident because I don't want to cook. Aliens, I'm not calling Johnny weak. I just think it would be ridiculous to assume that Johnny's numbers wouldn't be attainable with seeing the entire process he went through to produce those numbers. Like, he put it's documented on YouTube, his whole process from when he was an early lifter to being the level he got to. So who's not natty, Ben? Who? The guys who are open about their use, I would say, are the ones I'd probably start with. Guys like Pete Rubish is open about his use. Dan Green's pretty open about his. The Lily Bridges. Larry Wheels wore a shirt that's like cocaine, hookers, and steroids. Like, what? I mean, there are people out there who are like, yeah, those are the ones who use drugs. You don't need come on. You don't need to go natty hunting in the lightweights. Most of them probably would not be lightweight IPF lifters. Because what's the point? What's the point of using drugs in the lightweights in the IPF? No point. Gerbera, I don't do box jumps anymore. I used to. I don't have any boxes to jump. I have no boxes with which to jump. Gabriel, how were his numbers on kg? Johnny was an 83. He squatted in the low to mid 200 kilogram. Like, I think Johnny was under 275 for his squat. His bench, I don't even know the conversions for bench. Like the 140s or 150s for his bench, and then the I don't think he ever got an official 300 kilo pull as an 83. Like, those are good numbers. Don't get me wrong, those are good numbers, but those are not, you can't be natural numbers. Those are absolutely, Johnny would be a good example of someone who could produce those numbers. You silly boys. Expose fake natties. The idea of fake natties is, to me, a very silly pursuit. Because what's the point? What's the point? If people are passing their drug tests and they're telling you that they're natural, they are either lying or they're not. And it comes down to a character decision. So, yeah, Lenny, I think those numbers are pretty close to what I was saying in the kilo conversions. Phil, Tom used to compete in the IPF over in the UK. Tom Martin, we're Facebook friends. Real strong deadlifter. He was very crazy in the IPF, and then he left the IPF, and now he got real crazy. I think the highest total in the UK or something. Kind of crazy. We're talking 900-pound deadlift crazy. Lenny, you fast for 18 hours a day. That's how I lost weight. No, I get what you're saying. Tom recently pulled 926 in the gym with straps. I believe it. Tom's crazy. Didn't realize that. I follow him on YouTube. That's all. No, he's a nice guy. I'm not trying to like throw shade at all. I remember I learned about Tom when he was in the USA, or when he was in the British version with the IPF affiliate for the UK. I have lifters in that, and I can't remember what it's called. But he has since moved on because he squats now with wraps, and his bench press went from like pretty strong to like real strong. He was one of those super high frequency guys. Tom was doing a lot of like high bar every day, deadlift like 3 times a week kind of stuff. Solid training consistency. See, Gason, did you ever train for bodybuilding? I used to like train for I used to have a lot more bodybuilding-esque type things, but I was doing sports when that was happening too. It was like for football and things. Yugi, just like how Johnny ate Taco Bell every day to get down to 74. Yep, Johnny made that video talking about, because it was just energy balance manipulation. That's all it was. But it was something like how to get shredded on just eating Taco Bell every day. People got really on Matt Ogus's case when he was doing his bodybuilding preps with still managing to put the burrito, eating Chipotle every day. So that was interesting. And yeah, I think Johnny was just trying to prove a point with that, and I think he really likes Taco Bell, and I like Taco Bell too. It doesn't like me. I don't have a good day the next day after I eat Taco Bell, but. Anthony, do I ever think Tom will beat Belkin's 220 deadlift record? I don't know. Tom's really got a strong pull. I think he's heavier now, though. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tom's gained some weight. I definitely could be mistaken. I don't know what weight class he competed in last. It's pronounced taco filet, by the way. Goodness gracious. Oh, so adorable. And it's like, I'm going to bed, boys. Catch you later. 9:20 a.m. here. I'm way too tired. Get some rest, fam. Get some rest. All the naps. Fernando Reyes gym, Gabriel, is a Pan American gold medal champ. Solid. Mocked athletics for deadlift. Is it futile to pursue a maximally efficient, aka Yuri Belkin style, or should you just default to what works best for you, even if it's inefficient, and slowly try to increase efficiency? Hard to say. Find out. I mean, looking at your own leverages, your own biomechanics, put yourself in the best position, and then work on getting stronger in that position. Not everybody pulls like Yuri. Not everybody's best pull would be to pull like Yuri. If you're not built like Yuri, then your optimal pull would probably look a little different. So that's just something to consider. Amiro, hey Ben, what's your advice or accessory work to improve my lockout during deadlift? Focus on the start, because most people are getting out of position, and that's why their lockouts are bad. If your spine and your hips are in a bad position at the start, then you get to the top and you have to unroll your back, then that's a problem with the start. Do pause deadlifts, and it will clean up the start of the lift, and then you should find yourself being able to pull more efficiently, and the lockouts shouldn't be a problem. 99% of the time, that's what I see. Very few lifters are in a perfect position and get all the way to the top of a deadlift and then can't finish it, because the start is the hardest part. And if people are really fast off the ground but they slow down and they lose speed because they're falling out of position, no, they're just out of position 99% of the time. Aliens, I'm not going to forget my Pendlay rows. I just don't think I'm going to be streaming for them. I'm going to do those and my tricep extensions and probably call Jess, since it's not super late yet. Lenny, do I think putting yourself in a short-term bulk will help my injury heal? I've put a halt on my cut for the week. I think it was hurting your recovery. Maybe stay at maintenance for a little while and see if your recovery is affected. But if you're trying to, that's actually a healthy way to cut, is to drop a little bit and then kind of slow down at maintenance, and then bring, because if you're in an extended cut for a long period of time, you're way more injury prone and your recovery is going to be affected. Where if you kind of stabilize at each like benchmark weight on your way down, it makes it way more sustainable to let yourself get all the way down to where you're trying to get to. Stan, am I going to hit those Pendlay rows? Yeah. My working weights for those are going to be like 145. I don't need a lot of weight. So, that's because my positions will be very consistent, very solid, and I will focus on the tension and holding those positions and stability and the isometric hold at the top. So I don't need a lot of weight. I don't want to beat up my joints any more than I need to. And I'm probably going to say it later. Also, first person to say mantra, right? You're the best. I appreciate it. I'm trying my best. Yugi, you're using Izzy's eating to win. Lost 7 kg since February while not losing anything on my total. Awesome. 195 grams of protein is hard while only eating 2250 kcal, but clearly Izzy knows what he's talking about. Yep, Izzy's well read and well researched. Gabriel, it's 4:21 a.m. there in Sao Paulo. For me, it's just now getting close to 12:30, which is normally like I'm starting my workouts. So I'm pretty happy that it's going all right. Fabian needs to get off. Have a good night. Good night, sir. Ben, make t-shirts. Pause deadlift. We'll see. 12:21 in Canada. Oh, we're on the same time, Brohim. 5:20 in Australia. G'day. G'day, mate. Vegemite. Do you eat Vegemite? Dalton? Is that an insensitive question? I just hear it's really salty. That's all I've heard about it. 3:21 in Puerto Rico. 9:30 in Denmark. Land of the Bjergsen. 2 a.m. in Texas. Go to bed, Marty. You've got. No, you can't go to bed. You're working probably. Are you working tonight? You are working tonight. You're working 5 nights in a row. You crazy man. Amiro's from Brisbane. Same in Brissy too. West End. Makes sense. I think that's why I've been injury prone lately. Cutting for several months. Numbers staying strong till I got injured. Yeah. Well, there's a lot. You need stuff. You need the stuff to recover, my friend. C. Gason 6. Why do some novice lifters want to do more sets, reps, exercises? Because you want to get better as fast as possible. You're motivated to make progress quickly. And you feel like doing more will give you more. That's a problem. You can't rush the adaptive process. You have to give yourself time to recover and adjust to the stimulus that you're doing and make recoveries, and that's how progress happens. But we all are like that. We all want to go faster to get better progress. When I was playing League and I was getting into League, I wanted to play more games to get better faster, but I would benefit more from doing less with better intention. Instead of just getting pure volume in there, the quality of the work you put in is usually more beneficial, and a lot of lifters who are newer to it don't have an opportunity to really feel that way. And you go from doing nothing to doing a lot, it feels like just adding more will continue to produce progress, and that's not always the case. You have to add more, but you have to be very intentional about where you add it. Instead of just throwing volume at yourself, the quality needs to remain consistent and improve as well. And the better you get, the more intentional you have to be with the programming decisions you make. It's way harder to coach an advanced lifter than it is to coach a novice lifter. But it's usually easier to coach an advanced lifter mentally. Because usually to get to that level, you have to develop some patience. And a lot of other lifters who are newer haven't had to build that patience yet. Anthony, sumo deadlift is fun because you can maintain good position and hate yourself getting the bar off the floor or around your back and hate yourself locking it out. Yep, perfect, right? You all end up at the same spot. The meal's not over when I'm full. The meal's over when I hate myself. Don't you go to IQ? Oh, you guys are talking about places. I don't know places. Dalton, I was a jungle main. I wasn't good. I was never good. I wish I was. I didn't have time to commit to be good. But I was a jungle main and a support secondary. Lenny, did I know Simon's favorite movie is Interstellar? I didn't know that. I did not know that. He never told me. Gabriel, call it a night. Good. You need some naps, man. It's 4:30 over there. Get some rest, brother. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Blaffily, just tuning in. We're kind of winding down, but you're welcome to hang out while we're still hanging here. I finished the workout surprisingly quickly. Last week it took well over 3 hours. This week it was 2 hours and done. So feeling a lot better. Got a little bit of extra rest this weekend, I guess. Lenny, you round your back and still slow off the floor and easy lockout. Rounded upper back, by the way. My speed, L-rated technique, and upper back pull. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing, guys? I got some work I need to do tonight, but if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and shoot them off. Shoot them off, because I think we're gonna shut it down here pretty quick, so that I'm just gonna knock out those accessories kind of off stream, and call my love. And I have quite a bit of work I still need to do, so I'll get to that. But if last chance for questions / thoughts. Love you. Have your workouts gotten longer as you got more advanced, or always been 2 to 3 hours? Hard to say. There are times when it's up and down. Sometimes I have quick sessions. Sometimes I have long sessions. It's been that way since the start. As the weights have gotten, in terms of absolute weight, as they've gotten heavier, sometimes it takes longer to have to rest in between. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've always had long sessions. Yuki with another. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you again. Much appreciated for the very generous donation with the means a lot, man. I appreciate it. Makes it a lot easier to justify doing these for hours and hours. As much as I love them. Work is for babies. Lenny's trying to think of a question. Anthony, if Ben gets off, I have to study physics. I really don't want to do that. Gotta learn the physics, man. Gotta learn the physics. Yeah, thank you for hopping in, brother. Appreciate it. Phil, cheers for answering my questions. Appreciate you probably repeat yourself a lot. It's not frustrating to repeat myself. I like to try and share information with different people, and if I can't expect you to have watched every single one of the streams. I'm sorry if I ever sound like I'm getting annoyed. I'm really not. You guys are always very gracious, and even when some of y'all get a little trolly, it's all in good fun, and I love it. So think of a question, Anthony. Thanks. Can I ask Ben my physics homework? You can ask it. You're gonna get an answer. It's not gonna help you a whole lot. Just watch Interstellar. I'm pretty sure that's got a lot of physics in it. So I've heard. Lenny, what's the most I've ever high bar squatted? I think the most I've ever tried is like 515 for 5. I don't think I've ever had reason to do more than that. It wasn't fun. I don't enjoy it. Dalton, thanks. Have a good night. You too. Or you have a good day, I guess. Stan, how did you become boys with Garrett Blevins and Brandon Campbell? Garrett reached out to me a while back. I think it was right when he first hit his... Garrett did a mock meet, hit a 650 squat and like a 450 bench and then a 7-something pull. And we ended up doing a Google Hangout and just talking. And then Brandon's watched a couple of my videos and I talked to him on a couple of videos. And then we all just kind of became dude bros and friends. So that's, yeah. I guess that's kind of how it just really kind of happened naturally. I think the first time Garrett and I talked, we talked for like 4 hours about programming and about faith and about life and about a whole bunch of stuff, and then we just became friends. Anthony, those are questions, right? Yeah, man, those are questions. I don't claim to be an expert on physics. Mac athletics, pause, deadlifts for sumo deads. What are your opinions on them? I think they're great, and I think they're helpful, and I do them every week. I know you do them, but I haven't heard detailed description, I don't think. I think that what they do is that they force you to maintain a good position at the start of the lift, where most people will get out of position. They force patience. They make you work on your grip strength because you're having to hold the bar a little bit longer. Once you have maintained that good position, then you can re-accelerate. It teaches you to keep pulling and be patient in the pull, patient off the floor, and then to accelerate to the lockout, which I think is the correct way for most deadlifters to pull, because once you've cleared the deck in a good position, it's very difficult to lose your position on the way up. Most lifters will yank the bar off the floor, get out of position immediately, and then get stuck and think they have a bad lockout when they just have a bad pull in general. As much as that sucks. Phil, I didn't know we could donate. Well, you're welcome to. It's always appreciated but never expected. That's that little super chat function down in the next to the little comment box. So, which I'm always very thankful of it, but it's never, you guys never have to donate. I'm still going to keep doing the streams twice a week. We're probably going to be moving towards, if you guys haven't had a chance yet too, if you're in the next couple of weeks, we're looking to try and maybe move over towards Twitch and do some stuff on Twitch. So make sure you get in on the Discord server. So the link to the invite for that should be in the description of this video, or of this VOD and of the stream. And that Discord server will send an invite whenever we go live, either on Twitch or on here, because aliens set that up for us, and that's really helpful. Plus, you can do little meme emojis of my face doing funny things, so might be cool. Kill. Bellfly, should I scrap OHP dead for another bench focus day? If you can do your overhead pressing, it depends. How many bench days do you have? If you're finding good progress with the overhead press, go ahead and keep doing it. I don't do it because I got a bad shoulder and I'm injury prone when it comes to that. That's really the main reason. I program it for a lot of my own lifters, though. So, Lenny, I sounded pretty annoyed about the plate thing. Well, I was getting a little bit, taken aback that someone came on and was getting sassy from the start, and then I answered their questions that they had very, in my opinion, without getting sassy back, and then more sass came out. So, and just the way it was phrased, why are you doing this thing wrong, without offering a conscientious correctment. I think that that's not a good way to approach people, especially when they're trying to give their time freely to you and answer your questions, to come at them in a way that's condescending and rude. I'm not a fan of that. So, Lenny, when I go heavy high bar, my upper back starts to round. Yep. The breaking points for the high bar are going to be the back and the quad strength. The limiting factors, your erectors, your upper back tension, and because you're losing your spinal neutrality, because it's the center of gravity is higher, so that makes this lever longer, and so this isn't always solid. You have to maintain that tension, and if you lose that tension, then it collapses the torso. I haven't really watched the live streams before, but after tonight, you're going to be on that notification for sure. Well, I'd appreciate you coming by. I love doing these, and I know it's a lot for people who aren't really into the scene, but I love having live streams and having this kind of quick discussion stuff with you guys. Anthony, how do you feel about moving up to stacked 105 class? That it's going to be a challenge, but Jesse Norris exists in the 93s, so it's not like that's any less competitive, in my opinion. Do you feel like it's the most competitive weight class, or do you just want to change something up? I just think I'm healthier as a 220. I wish that there was a class that existed that would fit my weight, but there's not. So I'm trying to go from the 205s, which is just a little bit too light, to the 231 class, which is just a little too heavy. And so I'm going to continue to focus on just what I can control, which is not who's in what weight class, but on making progress the best I can, making good training decisions, sticking with it as long as I can, and trying to just progress at whatever rate I am capable of producing, and then hoping everybody continues to make progress themselves and we can all make each other better. I'm very good friends with the best 105s in the country, so I've got nothing but love for them and want them to do well, and I want to continue to do well too. So that's my opinion on going up a weight class. It's literally, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't feel like it would be the healthier decision. My coaches agree. I am way more resilient to training. I am way less injury prone when I'm over 212 pounds of body weight. It's just something that we found. Lenny, the streams are always Always good. Always a good time. Definitely wouldn't watch them if I wasn't still in school. Well, I appreciate hearing that, you big jerk burger. The long femur high bar squatter here. Hint, my quads are bigger than Candido's. Goodness gracious. Stan, I don't live close to Garrett. Garrett is... We've only actually been in the same physical space a couple of times at Nationals and then at the Arnold. He lives in California, I believe in Southern California, and I'm in Western Washington. So we don't get to train together. I trained with Brandon when he came up here. He was up in Seattle, and we got together and trained. I've trained with Bryce when he was up here. I haven't gotten a chance to train with Garrett, but I hung out with his wife and daughter at Nationals, and I filmed for him there, and I filmed for him at the Arnold, and again hung out with Michelle and Sophie. So they pray together. Yes, we did. We did pray together. Anthony, I think Garrett lives in... Yep. Point Loma University. Yes, before he got his home gym stuff. I think he still works security there. He's still a security guard. I got him hooked on Pokemon Go. He's playing Pokemon Go. Detailed explanation. Yeah. Phil, is that available on my phone? Can't see how. iPhone, by the way. I'm not... Oh, are you talking about the super chat thing? I have no idea. I have no idea if it's available on mobile. Yep, I don't know. Lenny maybe knows. Should be where the send button is. Normally on mine it is weird. Where are you coming out of, Phil? Maybe we've run into a couple of people who aren't able to see the super chat function with their whatever country they're coming from if they have a different version of YouTube. But it's okay. Don't stress about it, man. Dalton's currently updating Discord. Oh, well, thank you. Kurt, is Jesse competing at Nationals this year? I do not know. I know he's nursing an injury, but he doesn't have to be healthy to still beat everybody. He's just so much further ahead of everybody else. It's pretty insane. Anthony, here's a question that might stir up controversy. Who comes out on top at Worlds, Garrett or Bryce? I had this talk with both of them. I said, and I told them both the same thing. And it's how I feel about any competition. My hope is that everybody has their best day. And that whoever's best day is better, then that's how it goes. Everybody, every competitor, when they go there, I hope that everybody has their best day, because what I don't think would feel good is to go and only win because someone else had a bad day. I don't think that's nearly as fulfilling. I would rather take second place that I feel like I earned and I deserved it because I was the second best lifter there, than take first to someone who made a mistake. And some people, that's not how they look at it. But I told Garrett and Bryce, especially because I love them both and I want them both to have their best performance and not have any regrets about how it goes. I just want them to go and do their best. That's it. So that's it. I think they both have, I mean, Garrett has Bryce on the squat. They're comparable on the bench press. Garrett's got him edged out a little bit, but Bryce just has a way bigger pull. So that's what happened at Nationals, but then Garrett came back at the Arnold and up some of those numbers, and I think it should be pretty awesome to be able to see them both. And I think they're both pushing each other to get better, and I think Christoph is going to have a crazy day, and Manuel's going to be there, and he's going to have a crazy day, and I want them all to have their best day. I think that's the best for everybody, because then no one has regrets, and I don't wish regrets on anybody at that stage. It's already enough pressure. There's already enough stress. I think you can walk away with your head held high and fulfilled if you have your best day and someone else just comes in there and they just have a better one. Then we gonna go to Harry Potter World after we lift? Is that in Orlando? Are you gonna take me to Harry Potter World, Marty? Let's go. Fun time. Amiro, how often I train at Barbell Brigade? I went once. I went once and got some really awesome footage. That place, for the record, you don't even have to do anything impressive. Any video you take or any pictures you take is just the most epic looking, because I figured out the lighting and the banner in the back, and the way that all the platforms are spaced out. It's just an awesome place to look like you lift. And it's also got really nice people and some really strong people too. So that's cool, I guess. UK, good old Blighty. Jesse Norris is doing a meet soon. Yeah, I haven't heard any of his stuff. I don't know. Lenny, Ben, if I become a mod, I should get a free t-shirt after defeated the OBS goblin. Huh. We'll see. We'll see, Lenny. We'll see. It's weird because I think Garrett is built better for deadlifts and Bryce is built better for squats. Technically speaking, though, I think Bryce has more efficient pull than Garrett. Both have insane squat, though. Which textbook would you recommend more about training? I'm terrible with that, C. Gason. I wouldn't, in terms of textbooks, I'd recommend checking out Greg Knuckles, Eric Helms, Michael Israetel. Those are the authors that I would recommend. Marty, oh yeah, Jesse's doing that meet in Idaho Idaho? Montana? Colorado? Where's the meet that Darrington's doing? Darrington, are you still here? Listen to me, boy. What meet are you doing? I forget. I was supposed to do it too, but I couldn't afford the entry fee on time before it filled up because I'm a poor boy. Yes, I heard Jesse's doing that meet. Garrett's pull was, yeah, I think Garrett really he's expressed that he is constantly trying to figure out the pull. He's trying to figure out his best pull, and he's changed that a few times. But his squat and his bench are really, really solid. And I think Bryce is a more well-rounded lifter. No, they're both really, you know what? They're both really good. They're both really good. I'd just be guessing things. Jesse lives where bodybuilding.com is, wherever that is. Not from Minnesota. Fill your head off and get ready for work. Well, thank you for joining, sir. Thanks for the stream and the chats. Well, thank you for the questions and the feels. Anthony, Jesse perplexes me because he trains like a bodybuilder. Yes, one of the strongest guys ever. Yep. He's a phenom. Jesse's amazing. Idaho. That's it. Idaho. Garrett is your goal bench technique? Oh, man. I've told him I'd trade him some of my deadlift for his bench, but then I take it back because I like being able to deadlift more than him. I can't help it. It makes me feel better that I could do that, that I could say, well, that's why my bench is so bad. See, Gason, I have to row 4 plates for the stream. Oh, man. I don't want to. No accessories. No accessories on stream. That's not the good times. But I probably do need to get heading out because we made really good time on the session, and that does remind me I just need to knock out my accessories. And I said just any last questions. So having shorter arms is my goal bench technique. Yep, I wish I could just retract these a little bit for the bench, but we'll see. Anyway, we're going to shut it down, guys. Next stream is going to be Saturday. And it'll probably be in the early afternoon. No, late afternoon, early evening is the goal. Most I've ever rode, Lenny, was I rode 405 for like 10 or something. There's no point in doing it. I didn't need that much weight. It didn't help me as much as doing 135 correctly. All right. Yes, we're gonna call it a night on the stream. Next stream is going to be Saturday. And you guys are more than welcome to come and hang out for that. Make sure if you're not following my Twitter or my Instagram or my Facebook or here and aren't able to see it, then make sure you check out the Discord server and it'll send you the Discord bot will send you an update announcing when we start it. So every Tuesday and every Saturday, that's what we do. The deadlift workouts, because I try not to stream squats because they are soul sucking. So love you all. Hope that you're having a great night or a day or whatever you're doing, wherever you're at. I hope it's a good one. Thanks again. Super thanks to Yugi for the 2 very generous donations. Appreciate it so much. Lenny, second stream you've ever made it to the end. Yeah, appreciate you sticking it out, man. Check out the Discord server after this or during or whenever. But yeah, I will talk to you guys again on Saturday. I will have a video up in the next couple of days. I need to get caught up with a lot of those things. So working on it. Anyway, without further ado, you guys have a great evening, day, night. I never know how to say that. All right, and now I'm waffling, so have a good night. Goodbye.